Everybody, welcome. Let me make sure now, since I'm intensely paranoid, nobody is muted. Okay, all sound is coming through. That'll probably stick for a little bit until I'm like, yes, I'm very comfortable that that will not happen again. But welcome.
Just gonna have to just.
Yeah, probably one day. I'll fucking karate chop you through the fucking computer, dog. Anywho, welcome to the Hard Knock Dice, which is the channel of which we represent and run and do stuff on, specifically our Ghost of Saltmarsh campaign, which is DM'd by me, Ian, here in the middle of the screen, because I am the center of attention, obviously. These gentlemen around me, who are actually, the stars of the show, are my players and my buddies, most of the time, I think. Sometimes not so sure. But, yeah. And they play their characters. Some of whom are tall, some of whom are short, but all of whom are fucks. That's how I feel about y'all sometimes. But, anywho, before we get started tonight, as per usual, we are currently doing a charity drive for the International Medical Corps instead of Extra Life, which is what I was about to say because I said that for long enough that it's still ingrained back there. But the International Medical Corps at the time, who are doing things to help those in need over in Ukraine, both on the physical and mental welfare front, helping them out. So I do greatly encourage you to give a click on that link. It is a worthy cause. These people do need assistance, and it's a good deed to provide it and help them out as we can. Aside from that, I don't know if we got anything, fellas. I don't think we have anything else aside from our Eberron campaign, which is on Saturdays. We will not be playing this upcoming Saturday, so if you missed that on this last Saturday, well, now you know now. Got IRL stuff that's got to get done with it, taken care of. So there you go. Don't expect us next Saturday, but we're doing the Gosm things. So last week on the Gosm, Saltmarsh, the ghosts of the Saltmarsh, our brave heroes were they were still trying to make sense of some information they had gotten from the individual members of the Council of Saltmarsh that still remain here within Saltmarsh. Some of which they didn't particularly like. The two groups meeting back up, they kind of shared what they had learned, that while Anders may not necessarily be an enemy, he could not be counted on as ally at this time. However, both Ida Owland and Manistrad Copperlock's a little more amenable, perhaps, to being of assistance. They went and picked up some money, of which numbered quite a bit of their reward, before paying a visit to the new, or at least temporary, captain of the guard, one Jacob Shepard, who I immediately regret giving him that last name because I didn't think about it ahead of time. That aside, they spoke to Jacob and kind of got a rundown of a little bit of how things went down, that the investigator, Mr. Carnal, who they ran into on the road, and his men hadn't done the searches of Primwater's estate and then Firebrand's domicile solo. That he and some of his men had been present to observe, and that, like, while they hadn't been hands on, they had kind of seen it go down, and it seemed relatively official. Gaining permission, as long as they had a guard of some sort, kind of keeping a general eye on them, they set off to first search Eleanor Firebrand's quarters, that is holed up in the top of one of the barracks here in Saltmarsh. Taking a look around and seeing not a ton at first, until Julian uncovered, seeing that just the leftovers of what the investigator and his men had discovered, until Julian was able to notice that some of the stuff looked a little new, being a relative term in the last couple months or so, seeming to have been a relatively fresh installation. They started examining everything a little closer. Gloob climbing outside on the outside of the building, checking the windows and finding the barest signs of that somebody had picked the lock on one of these windows. So with many a suspicion on what may have occurred and gone down in Eleanor Firebrand's quarters, they exited. before proceeding on to Gellin Primwater's estate, hoping to find some similar or maybe some more concrete evidence at the very least. Seeing much of the same, the investigators' men having left evidence of their search, some discovered hidden compartments, but with nothing left in them, they moved on to the private warehouse that was on his estate, finding evidence of definitely some smuggled goods, illicit trade definitely coming through here, but and some jewelry that Gloob acquired, some little bit of bling to spice up his wardrobe, but nothing unexpected. Going for a detailed look at a couple of the rooms as a last gamble, last toss of the dice, as it were, both figuratively and literally, within the home itself. Bart was able to uncover a small compartment on the bottom of the headboard, on the bottom of the back of the headboard of Primwater's bed, that contained a very tightly wrapped note around a familiar arcane stick thing, because I haven't named them. Fuck you. They cast spells. Of a similar construction but different constructor than the ones that they had retrieved from the Oni's corpse back in the Dreadwood. Julian and Gloob in the downstairs. I'm sorry, Julian and Jakob in the downstairs. Y'all are split on screen sides. I'm looking at one other. But Julian and Jakob in the downstairs in the sitting area, looking around, seeing what they could find. Jakob struggling to find much of anything that isn't the floor, if I recall correctly. Julian, however, leafing through some of Primwater's literature, noted that some of the penmanship didn't quite match with the rest of the book on a few of the pages, but had been very intentionally meant to match, as close as whoever had written it could. They ended last session by getting one Captain Zindros in the after hours during her relaxation time to identify this stick, being told that this was a divination-based spell that would scry on a very specific location, that it would not just allow you to scry wherever, as the spell normally would, but that it was tied to somewhere specifically. And that's where we're going to rejoin you fellas, as you guys have exited, or walked away from Zendros' area of her wagon kind of deal that she's got going on. In the relatively early hours of the evening tonight. What would you all like to do? I'm gonna smack my keyboard a little bit.
I think we're heading to the boat, right?
Yeah. It's already past dark, right?
Yeah, there might be like a few like little like tinges of like that orangey purple, but it is definitely into the evening.
All right. Let's if y'all don't mind, I mean, I can meet you back there if you'd rather not, but I need to go get Breela so that I can get her back.
Yeah, we can walk together.
All right.
So you go retrieve Breela and hopefully a completed squirrel saddle.
Yeah, hopefully.
Easily enough done. You paid this dude extra money to handle this first and now, and it's been an entire work day. And considering Breela's size, he was easily able to modify an existing saddle to do what you needed it to do. So you were able to go by, pick up your squirrel saddle plus squirrel mount. I imagine y'all are going from there to the boat, or is there any other side, any stops that you guys would like to make?
Yeah, just go there from the boat, make sure everything's good.
Yeah.
Head on.
As we're walking, Jakob would try to pat Breela on the head. Like, I'm not really sure how to. I don't know. You pat horses. Hello, giant squirrel.
Kind of looks at you like big old like dark squirrel eye.
We're best friends.
Breely can only talk to Bart, so it's just kind of like nice.
Yeah, I'll ask Breely. Do you mind if that one pets you every now and then?
Just kind of head tilts in contemplation. That's fine. That's fine. I can't quite remember how she sounded before. Oops. Should like write this down.
Yeah, I will
Southern
say
squirrel.
nothing. I'll just let Jacob keep thinking that.
We're best friends.
Well, I guess
Woo!
Breela just heard him say we're best friends now, so she can still understand comment.
Yeah, she can. She's a
man.
squirrel sorority. She's very polite to guests. Very polite squirrel. A very upstanding mammal. All right,
Got that long-suffering squirrel look.
I'm not quite sure what that looks like, but
Me either.
I'd say she probably has a pretty good poker face. But regardless, soon enough after picking up Breela and her saddle, you guys do return to the boat. Much as you left it this morning.
Well, do we want to bring everything out here? Let's go sit in the kitchen or something, I guess,
Right, I
so we
can
can
start.
bring all this stuff out.
I can cook us up something real quick.
Yeah.
And Glue will go into the bag of holding and get the book that Julian told him to grab, and the wand and note that, the stick and note that Bart grabbed, and bring out the jewelry too and set it there, but closer to me than everything else. And I think that's all we got, right? That's all we got
Correct.
from Primwater's place, or from either place. Okay.
Correct. Like of physical note, yeah.
Okay. Do something. And I'm just gonna look at Bart and Julian and Jakob.
And
Well,
I'm just sitting there. I'm not a spy. I don't know how that stuff works. Just
I mean, y'all got the magic. They said that you can just do magic
touch.
and it tells you what it says. So I mean, do the magic.
When the magic goes to a place, that's what Zinder said.
No, I'm talking about the papers, because that's how the Inquisitor or whatever guy.
Well, I'm kind of reading magic.
What was that?
I don't have any reading magic.
Shit.
I mean,
that book. Here. He's gonna take the book where he dog-eared the pages for all the ones he found that looked suspicious. Here's the suspicious pages that I found. Might be more.
the only thing I know of is you take the first letter of every paragraph and then you write them all out and see if that makes something. I read that in a story one time, but aside from that, I'm kind of stumped on these sort of things.
well, I mean, you're not wrong. One of the books I read was on thieves before. Here, let me see the book. I'll pull it over to me. Well, thieves can't get me anything out of this book?
No.
He's just shut down.
Unfortunately not. Everything in here is like complete. You know, like Thieves' Cant is a lot of like little symbols and stuff that are most part that would pass unobtrusively, like if they were kind of scratched onto stuff, they could without a passing glance not look like anything intentional.
It's also a lot of innuendos, not so much a specific cipher.
Right. Yeah, this looks like you're looking at these pages that Julian marked, and like it's poetry. Is what it is. Or each of these pages appears to be at least a section of a poem, if not the complete.
Well, I like poetry, but I'm not exactly a code breaker.
It's I'll bring the letter over next to the book. Is there anything that lines up between the pages in this paper that we have?
Same hand, maybe.
While y'all are comparing them side to side, just roll a quick investigation check for me. You're trying to compare these two directly.
Not ours, is it, Julian?
2.
Better than that, though. 9.
Nothing seems to line up. Julian, I'll say even with a 9, I'll say with your previous check, I will at least give you that they do look to be different hands, written by different people.
I don't think written by the same person, but I couldn't be sure.
I mean, only thing I know about poems is from the books that I read. I mean,
I doubt it's actual poetry. Or, I doubt it's in here because of the poetry.
I will pull out one of my volumes and
nope, we're good.
Try to find a poem.
Nope.
And compare it.
Actively, like, reaching over and attempting to, like, shut the book.
Just slaps hand.
Flip. Yeah,
Julian, did you say actual poetry or sexual poetry?
Actual poetry.
Sexual
poetry? Look, you just gotta give it a chance.
Nope, I do not.
Might be something in here.
Julian looks just absolutely, like, frazzled, like, discomfited entirely.
Well, I guess the folks that were able to see through the cipher, I mean, they've all left, right? So maybe some people, if we can get them together at the council meeting tonight, they might have a line of contact if they found any more evidence to send to someone or something like that. Or maybe an ability to see and read extra evidence if it was found. It might be a long shot, but
Jacob, real quick, roll a straight wisdom for me, real quick.
Yeah.
3? Never mind. Never mind.
Oh boy, doing perfect.
I mean, who would we, if we're gonna crack it? Who are we gonna let crack the stick?
But I mean, the stick, I can do the stick thing. I mean, I might be able to see what's on the other side of it, but from what Zendro said, it just does it on a predetermined place, right?
We should probably wait to figure out when, otherwise we could waste the opportunity.
That's right.
Not even know where we were looking.
Right. We don't know where it's going to be looking at, and it could just be, a bench somewhere or the back table of a bar. And if we don't do it at the right time, we won't see who or what might supposed to be in that location.
Another thing is, if that stick gives us some type of evidence, we might not be the right people to have that evidence. Because I mean, they're more likely to believe somebody like Ida, or not Anders, from what y'all are saying. He's not in a good place, or maybe Miss Copperlocks, somebody on the council versus one of us.
Well,
but I also understand that means that we potentially won't be seeing what could help us out.
Oh, we definitely need the ones to be the ones seeing it. First of all, do y'all really 100% trust anyone else?
Well, here's the other situation, is that if someone else looks at it, are these going to be folks that are going to be willing to go too far out of line to try and, are they going to be going to Seaton and testifying on Firebrand's behalf? Right? I know we can't go unless this thing gets tied up for a long time before we get back with Julian's brother. But hell, I don't know. I don't think that. I don't feel like Copperlocks. I don't know about Edith, but I don't feel like Copperlocks would leave Seaton to try and save Firebrand in that way. I guess
That's fair. Maybe we crack it at the council meeting, so at least we can say, like, look, this is the stick, this is what it does, we've had it checked out, like, there's an actual stick that's intact right now, I'm gonna crack it and it's gonna show me such and such, so and so, like, we have witnesses.
right. I mean,
They wouldn't see what we see anyway. They
But
know.
it at least provides witnesses to say that there was a stick.
And what if they demand to be the ones to crack it?
I mean, that is. I mean, if Anders is there, I feel like he would probably be the one to demand. That's fair.
I don't think Anders is going to be there.
I mean, if we call a town meeting, a town council meeting, he is on the council. He might.
I don't think
hear
we're
about it.
calling quite a town council meeting as much as we're having a meeting of council members, if you know what I'm saying.
I just think if you, because Ida and Copperlocks currently are 2/3 of the council of what's left to the council. Oh, maybe also the
Captain Shepard.
Captain Shepard, yeah. So I guess that's 3/4 of the council then. If Anders hears about 3/4 of the council meeting, he might show up and say, like, oh, why didn't you invite me? Like, you trying to hide something from me?
Because he's a loony prick, and I'll say it to his face.
That might not be the best decision. It's somebody who is not stable and in power might take that as a grave insult and
Anders
may
right.
make an issue for us.
Anders right now is probably feeling really great. Feels like things are finally going his way, getting what he wants, right? So maybe he'll just be sitting nice and happy at home and won't really bother to look too deeply into things.
But if he does, what do we do?
Maybe tell him what we're doing.
Lie to him.
And if he demands to take the stick and crack it?
He can try and take it from us, see how that works out for him.
I mean, I don't see any reason to lie to him if we don't got to. Obviously, we're doing what we think's right and knows that he'd be an obstruction to us trying to get justice for Firebrand. So
Anders knows everything we've done, even though he's not in the best place right now. He knows what we've done for this city and knows what we're capable of. I don't think he'll try to get in the way of us getting closer to the Sea Princes, which we've agreed to him before that we have every intention of, well, dealing with them in the same way that he would like us to.
We can also re-represent the truth. He doesn't have to know the details. It's not a lie if we say we're looking more deeply into the connections with the pirates. He should have no problem with that kind of investigation.
Maybe they might have some connection with your brother. Not like your brother getting kidnapped.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's if we're gonna, tell a tale, I feel like that's a well enough tale. We're investigating information about Julian's brother getting kidnapped, and the people that kidnapped him need as much information as possible.
Ultimately, I don't think we should feel bad about what we have to tell Anders right now. I wouldn't feel too good about lying to him normally, but in the state that he's in right now, he would get in our way if he thought we were going to get Firebrand off. And we've shown clearly someone broke into Firebrand's place. Someone did this. So we know someone is messing with Firebrand, but Anders will probably... I know that desperation. Anders will do what he has to make sure that Firebrand stays guilty.
I don't disagree.
That's why I stand by keeping him uninvolved and out of the loop. Is probably our best course of action.
As much as we can, but to Jakob's point, if he does show up, we tell him we're just looking into more connections with the pirates and trying to suss out more connections. And none of that is a lie. That's exactly what we're doing.
I think if we make it clear to the others, we don't want Anders involved, we can have this meeting in a more private location that he won't just appear at.
I mean, we can have it on the boat.
If they
have
agree
it
to
in
it.
this room. I mean,
Or one of their estates.
sure. No. I mean, if I were in their position and I could be charged with maybe harboring treasonous actions, I probably wouldn't want to have the meeting at my house. So I feel like our boat's probably maybe the safest place for him.
Fair enough.
Yep.
I was just thinking somewhere he might not feel entitled to just stroll into.
I mean, if he wants to show up, he's going to feel entitled to go anywhere he wants. And
I don't think he'd just waltz into Ida's estates, however.
I mean, I don't think he'd waltz right in, but he might come up through the front door and demand to see her.
Yeah, especially if he feels like we're hiding something from him.
Right.
Here. We want to have this tonight, right?
Right.
So.
Oh, shit. Excuse me. I need to make more food. I was just making some stuff for us. I was going on autopilot.
I could sneak off from here and go hand the invitation off personally and tell them to meet us here.
Would you feel comfortable going by yourself doing that?
I'll be okay.
All right.
I'll be able to stick to the shadows for the most part. And I'm not trying to sneak into their places or anything. I'll be talking to their guards. And just keep any other eyes off of me.
And I guess you do have the earpiece, so stay in contact with Julian.
Yeah.
Before he goes, what are we gonna do about the cipher?
We can ask him about it and show him we found something. I can't make heads or tails of whatever message is in there. I mean, they said that they are decoded with magic, so we got to find out what type of magic decodes it. Nothing I've seen before.
Yeah,
I checked through my spell list 3 times. Clerics don't get comprehend languages.
You can always try to figure out the old-fashioned way, but it's up to you guys.
I mean, I'll compare it to the smut book I got in my hand.
I mean, attempting to decode the cipher would be a straight intelligence check.
Oh, I thought that's what I was trying to do earlier.
You were talking about comparing the two just together. This would not be investigation. This is just straight intelligence.
Straight intelligence.
Yeah, this is you trying to decode the cipher itself.
I mean, I'll sit down with someone and try to decode it if they want, but just let me get finished cooking first.
Comparing the smut with the
is not gonna that will not be a part of any kind of decoding effort. You look at them,
okay.
they don't match.
Shit. Okay. Well,
if you compare the amount of times they say lands right here and the amount of times they say loins over here, then
you could draw a lot of conclusions that mean nothing. Absolutely, like there's nothing stopping you from doing that. None of it will be useful. Unless outside, I mean, Jakob might still find it useful. Who knows? Up his game, maybe.
They say of 294 times. What does it mean?
The numbers mean. What do they mean?
Looking for patterns in the words could help get us on the right track at least. It would take time.
right.
well,
While saying this, like, go ahead.
It's gonna take some time for Gloob to go get the messages sent and
to try to decode like The note is relatively short. It's not that long. That would be a little more. How much time spent would be a little more dependent on the roll, like how well you rolled. The book, like the entries in the book, like I said, it's a couple of the poems themselves, and so, like there's like one that's only like a singular, like it takes up the one page, but several of the others are like a like longer form poems, like 1 to 2, maybe even 3 pages. So those would even if you decode it, so decoding everything involved, you figure probably take you a while. It would not be something that would be a quick endeavor.
The note first before the book, for sure.
Right.
And just to ask, because I've completely forgotten, the
Yeah.
note was a relatively new note, right? The tightly wound letter.
I'm trying to remember from what y'all discovered last week, like what if y'all even rolled for that last week. It wasn't like super old. It wasn't necessarily super new either. Like you figure definitely not like yellowed parchment levels of stuff, but also not like paint ain't still wet either.
Oh yeah.
But I believe you checked the compartment is I believe what you rolled for how old that was, and that didn't look new. Like it looked like it had been there.
Can I like spread it out and compare it with some newer type kind of parchment and see if like maybe it's yellowed or anything like that to try a
Sure,
get a
just
gauge
like
for how old it
direct
is?
comparison. Yeah, just roll a quick investigation check for me.
All right. 7.
7. Not quite sure. It doesn't, like I said, definitely doesn't look like visibly yellowed. Like if you had like, in the stories from the real old like treasure maps that are like supposed to be curling at the edges. It's curly, not from age though. It's curly from being wound around a stick.
We should have tried to see if this was new parchment or not during the day. I can't tell one from the other here in this cabin.
Our dice rolls are just stellar today.
Oh yeah.
Y'all are killing it. It's all those really good rolls from last week.
Gloob, when will you be leaving?
I wanted to take a look at the letter too. Before I do.
Okay. You wanna when you say take a look at the letter, are you wanting to take a crack at deciphering it?
Yeah. Are you limiting this to 2 rolls for the party?
Yes. For the moment, like this would consist of a decent chunk of time being spent trying to figure it out.
Will bless work for this roll?
Bless is not for skill checks.
Then I won't worry about it. I'll scoop up the.
Bless is attack rolls and saving throws.
I meant
Guidance. Yeah, it works on skill checks. So this is you just wouldn't get if he was in proficient investigation, like it's not that is int plus any other bonus you can throw on there somehow.
I'll guide him before getting back and not letting my souffle burn.
Okay. So add a d4. Somebody make a noise.
Ooh. With a 0 intelligence and that D4, my roll is going to come to a total of 23 with a 19 on the D20.
Very, very nice.
And a 4 on the D4.
Fantastic. Okay.
Hell yeah.
So, with a 23 total, Gloob, I'll say it. You sit there and you're looking at this, and you figure this lower roll might take like an hour or so, maybe an hour, 2 hours to kind of really get this fully fleshed out. I'll say you sit with it, with the 23 for about 30 minutes, or you just kind of seeing patterns in words used and kind of flipping it around in your head. And what it looks like is instructions. And what it reads as the following. Ward assures me that this will work over long periods of time. If needs must, simply reach out and contact me in whatever quickest way you have available to yourself. wait for 1 hour, and then break the stick. And you will see as you must. Or you will see, sorry, you will see what you need must do. As I said, it's not a particularly long note.
So say that again.
That Ward assures me that Ward assures me that the disenchantment will last for as long as it needs to. Reach out to me if you need to. Reach out to me as quickly in whatever means you have, as quickly as possible, and wait for 1 hour before breaking the stick. And it will show you, basically, you'll get instructions once you break the stick.
So we need to reach out to somebody. But he's expecting prime water.
He's expecting word from Primwater.
Yes.
He said through whatever method. It could be something less personal, like a letter. But
Or a
irrelevant,
message. Go ahead.
because we don't know who to reach out to or how.
Lube, I think you might be better suited to maybe get in the town hall and see if we can't get a little bit of writing from the other council members. I don't know who he might be writing to, but it'd be good to have samples of everyone's handwriting to see who wrote this letter was.
Smart.
If we're not going to divulge all the information we have that we haven't already divulged to other council members who may or may not be in cahoots with Copperlocks. Or, Brimwater. Who was it? Yeah, Brimwater.
But yeah, Primwater was the other one that got arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hopefully I can do that. I think I can.
How much longer on that meal, Bart?
Well, part of it's done. You can have something to eat now, but get this big souffle going.
How's it smelling?
It's smelling like a solid 24.
Yeah, I'm gonna
It's
have
good
some
smelling
right
souffle.
now.
When are you planning on heading out, Lou? You're gonna be hanging out for a bit or leaving in a few minutes?
No, I'm gonna try to get someone to let me in first. I'll default to other means if I need to.
I meant, are you gonna be leaving here, the boat, soon?
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna try to catch some of the guards before too late. Why? What's up?
We'll discuss it when we're done. We've got a lot to do.
Okay.
Personal matter, not related to business at hand.
Okay. Well, speaking of personal matters, I stole all of this. I'm gonna
Yeah,
point to the
I
jewelry
helped
in
you.
front of me.
Yeah, Julie's like,
Yeah, I got his attention for you. Obviously.
I look up Jakob at Jakob.
It's not the best morally to steal from anyone.
I know.
It's going back into the community.
I know.
But
That wasn't my plan for it.
stealing from somebody who is a known associate for pirates, I mean, I feel like that's pretty, like, without question that he's been working with pirates.
If he's proven
more
innocent, I'll give it back.
I can agree with that.
Julian just
Alright.
shrugs passively.
I put it on so fast.
Like I said, so and this is an assortment of jewelry.
Yeah.
You
It's all hers.
You ballpark that it's an assortment of jewelry worth about 300 gold pieces is from what you were able to snag. And quite frankly, I'm gonna leave that up to you to distribute as you see fit. I see no reason to limit what kind of swag you want to outfit yourself with.
It's just one 300 gold super baller pinky ring.
So I said, He's got 12 25 gold rings. Let's
No,
go.
I got you. It's 1 300 gold diamond ring.
That's crazy.
Instead, a tiny meteorite just comes out of the sky and just.
I'll just make sure that Bart dies first.
Okay.
That's crazy.
I put the cost on there.
So,
All right. We just want letters or of some sort from each of the council members, right? And then you still want me to invite them here for dinner. Okay. All right. Glue will take off, and I'll be stealthing.
Okay.
I'll take my no, I won't. Jacket and hat are staying on.
all right. All right. And where are you heading?
First, I'm gonna go to the guardhouse.
Okay. Just going straight over to the guardhouse.
Yep.
All right.
I'm gonna see if Biggin is working the desk tonight.
Are you wanting him to be working the desk?
Yeah.
High low.
Hi.
Alrighty. So you head over there. You're not sneaking across town. You're just kind of ambling your way on over there.
Yeah, for right now.
Okay. So takes you not too terribly long. Not a giant town, but you're going from one end to the other. And like I said, it's early evening, kind of after as y'all have been talking and Bart's been cooking, and you spent a relatively short amount of time breaking down what that note said. It's getting into that full evening, probably about like somewhere between like 7 and 8 o'clock. And the sun has definitely fully set, but you're a known quantity, so and you stand out, so they definitely know who you are. The guards that are the people that are out and about, but so you're able to make it over there in pretty good time. Coming up, the guards just kind of. You need something particular?
Is Biggin working the desk tonight?
Who?
Biggin?
Who?
Shape himself in the shape of Biggin.
I'm not sure who that is, but what do you need?
I don't think I ever got his name.
You did not.
I never gave him my name.
He just called you Lil.
That's correct. Oh, I need to speak to the guy that works the desk. If he's there tonight.
There's somebody at the desk. Sure. Just kind of wave you in. Biggin is not working the desk. Looks like some kind of lanky fellow is just kind of sat there. He's like currently pushed back a little bit on his stool. Oh, hey.
Hey.
What can I do for you?
Is Jacob in, Captain Shepard?
I've not seen him leave, so yes.
Awesome. It's only
what do you have an appointment or something? What?
That was the wrong answer to give. Is his door open?
Yeah, he looks like you can still see him in there. He's definitely got like a couple candles like lit in there where he didn't previously, but you see him just kind of like. Oh, hi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Walk in and close the door behind me.
Why do I owe the pleasure?
Well, good news is, if you want to call it good news, is we have found some things.
Yeah?
Yeah. I need to look into them a little bit more. And we'd like to invite you into a conversation to look at these along with us.
Uh-huh.
Look, I know you're tired, and I know this is probably a headache and a half, but we're fighting for Firebrand's life more than anyone right now. So, here's the two things that I need from you. I need to be led into the council chamber, or if you just have writings or letters from Ida Owland, Miriam Copperlocks. I don't have a number.
Manistrad.
Manistrad Copperlocks, and Andrew Selmore, the other council members, and preferably Firebrand as well, if you have any source of writing from them. We need to compare some handwriting.
Roll perception check.
For the second 19 in a row, a dirty 20.
Very nice. I imagine get something like that together. Shouldn't have to have you rifle about through the council chambers though. Some notes and things that have been kept around here. I could probably put together for you.
Okay. And then we'll meet on the boat on the pier. We're cooking dinner for everybody, so you can take a break from your paperwork. Bart's a damn good cook. So
Heard, yeah.
take a break in, let's say, an hour and a half.
Is the intent for this to be a covert gathering?
As much as I would like for this to be above table, not everybody else is playing their cards above the table, unfortunately. So we're going to have to do what we need to do. So if you can, yes.
All right. Sure, yeah. I can come take a look.
Can I roll an insight check on him? I want to see if he is nervous or uncomfortable with the idea, or if he is... I'd like to see if he plans on telling someone he's going to be there. Gotcha. I guess.
Go ahead and roll.
If that's something I can gather.
Yeah.
These traditionally go so well for me. 15.
Okay.
That's astronomical for my
I'll say with a 15, I mean he definitely seems a little like discomfited by the notion of kind of doing things kind of on the down low. This is definitely something like this is the kind of thing that's definitely outside his comfort zone. As to whether or not he's planning on telling anybody, I'll say you can't quite sure. This definitely seems something he's shaky on the thing, shaky on it. He definitely is like he seems like he's agreed. He'll try, but he's not entirely comfortable with the notion.
Okay. Just to act on that a little bit, when I see that he's uncomfortable, I'm gonna get up and still just talking in a quiet tone. We're on Firebrand's side here, and we're trying to save his life because, I mean, that's what's on the line. We're playing someone else's game right now, whether we like it or not. As unfortunate as that is.
Just kind of runs a hand over like his real close cropped. He's like, yeah, don't I know it? It's not. This isn't the kind of thing I've ever really tried to do.
Me neither. But you got friends with us, so.
Hope so.
We wouldn't be fighting this hard if we didn't. Anyways, and I'm gonna open the door. You got a lot of work on your hands, it looks like.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
You too. You too.
I will walk out and I'll head over to. I'll make the other two as fast as possible, and I will stealth for those because I know I'm going to be going near Anders' place. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna, especially going to Ida's place. So I'm going to stealth by there.
Okay. So are you heading to Ida's first before Manistrad?
That's the closer one, right?
No. Manistrad would definitely that Manistrad's where Manistrad is located is on opposite sides of town from where Ida's at. Ida's estate, Solmore's estate, and the Primwater estate are all kind of clustered in that same area, where like the rich folk are at, and then and that's closer by the water and the docks and everything, whereas Manistrad and the barracks and everything are kind of on that other side of town, closer to the jail and the council hall and all that fun stuff. So it's all kind of inland.
Gotcha. So yeah, once I turn the corner and go into Copperlock's place, I'll just stealth from there, going to her place.
So heading to Copperluck's. Go ahead and roll a stealth check for me.
Is this going to be a straight roll?
I'll say that with like all the cover and stuff, you could make it a pretty solid, like basing it off of sound. So go ahead and roll with advantage.
It's a natural 20 for the first roll for a total of 31.
Very nice.
And a 19 on the second roll for a 30.
There we go. Very nice, very nice. So
31.
So 31.
God mode activated.
Just like a ghost of Saltmarsh, one might say. The ghost of Saltmarsh was Gloob all along. But sneaking your way, just coming right up on that what kind of looks like, not like I said, described it previously as like a well-to-do like a manor house, but that has definitely been a little more battered and dirtied up by the miners' presence and making use of it. When you come up on the outside, there's a couple people kind of kicking about a little bit, but not any kind of heavy security. There's a couple guards that are patrolling out this way since it's kind of a little ways from the town proper.
Before I go up to the guards and everything, or the gate and everything, I'm gonna go into the earpiece and say, "All right, Julian, I spoke to Captain Shepard. He's gonna be getting us some examples of handwriting from Primwater, or not Primwater, Firebrand, Eat Island, and Monastrad Copperlocks. He'll be there in about an hour and a half. I'm at Copperlock's place right now. Do we want her there?"
Tear grunting for the earpiece.
Sorry, I was looking at something on my character sheet real quick.
Big nap.
What do y'all think?
Yeah, well, and since they can't hear, will we let? Sorry, I forgot we don't.
What are you talking about?
We just got done with Eberron. I forget we don't have the group chat.
I'm also gonna say at some point, probably around the time shortly after Klub left, Darby finally showed back up because y'all never like said anything to him throughout the day, so he just kind of hung out there for a while until people started to disappear.
Awesome.
Just for context, what Darby probably comes back to is Julian hunched over trying to decipher the rest of the book.
All right. Are you wanting to go ahead and roll for that?
I thought we were gonna finish Alex's portion of it.
I mean, if you're working on it, you're working on it.
Yeah,
so you're
that's what
either
I'm saying.
rolling for it or you're not.
Yes. Do I get?
If I see that he's gonna do that, I'd like to guide him before he.
Sure. We'll leave what you get out of it until much later, but if you succeed.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna do all of Alex's stuff first.
No, if you're doing it, we'll go ahead and have the roll.
All right.
It's straight intelligence, not investigation.
Not quite as good as Gloob, but very close with a 22.
Okay.
I have 0 bonus, so that D4 was critical.
Very nice. Okay. Alrighty. Okay.
But relaying that information and
Think it's a good idea?
just kind of like setting his pens and ink aside where he was making notes.
Yeah, we need to get everyone we can, right? Well, I don't know. I thought that was the plan.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get them all here. The ones we can, not Anders, because he'll make it full of everything.
Everybody but Anders.
Okay. All right.
Included.
Now go ahead and walk up to the gate and everything.
Okay. So are you gonna try to go up to talk to somebody, or are you trying to sneak? Still.
I'll sneak all the way up into the point where I can't from Monostrad's guards.
I mean, like I said, there are people that are kind of a couple people that are kind of standing guard like outside, outside the building itself, just kind of keeping an eye on things. So, but if you wanted to get into the building, you'd figure you'd have to break in somehow.
I'm gonna talk to someone first before I resort to those means.
So you just kind of materialize.
Yeah.
As in front of these two guards. God, jeez. Fucking spears just immediately like, what?
Just gonna move the spear out of my face.
Where'd you come from?
Right there.
What do you want?
To speak to Monostrad Copperlocks.
At this time of night?
Yes.
Full persuasion check. That's all you got.
13, sorry, I get a plus 1.
13. Why?
Council member business.
There's been no summons. That would have come through us.
It's what I'm here for.
No offense, but last I checked, you're not a member of the guard.
I'm not. But I did fight alongside you.
Doesn't confer rank of any kind, or
it doesn't. She'll want to talk to me. She knows why I'm here. If she doesn't want to talk to me, when you tell her my name, that you tell her I'm here for something very urgent, so be it.
Roll one more persuasion check for me.
You're gonna think I'm lying. 19 plus 1 for a dirty 20.
Okay.
I had D&D Beyond open when you rolled that, so it popped up.
That guy just...
We're gonna get like a message tomorrow. Sorry about that. D&D Beyond broken. Only rolling 19 and 20s last night.
This is where I rolled the 2 for the investigation check, so not the case.
I remember like the first 6 rolls of the game were all like under 5 or something.
I'll stick my head in.
Thank you.
Won't make any promises. Just kind of... I'll be right back. His partner kind of goes, okay, yeah.
I'll make small talk with him while the other guard goes and gets Monostrad and said, have you seen anything weird lately?
What do you mean weird? Like, what?
Unusual people.
Just looks at you. You and your friends, I guess.
You've seen me around.
Y'all, you're still some of the most unusual people I've ever seen in my whole life.
I prefer beautiful or extravagant or
sure
fantastic. But other people like us. People of note.
I mean...
Not NPCs.
It's fucked up. That's fucked up.
I'm just kidding.
Wow. Oof. That fucking existential crisis. Like...
Oh.
Jesus. I mean, the sea elves, it's pretty weird. Merfolk, also pretty weird. It's mercenaries that, holy shit, I can't remember his name now. Fucking... What's his name? Y'all did a job for him a while back, and I have not said his name in a very long while. Albert Drallion. Those mercenaries that Albert Drallion hired a while back, I mean, they're still around. They definitely stick out. investigator and his. The rest soldiers are just soldiers, but creepy guy. That's about all I got.
Cool.
I guess. But let's see here. With a few minutes later, guard returns with appears to be a hastily dressed Manistrad on his heels. Still kind of has her hair kind of pulled back in a quick and kind of messy kind of tail. He said that you had some urgent business.
Yeah, here, we can step right inside. You don't need to be out in this weather.
All right. Thank you for waking me. Guys, yeah, of course. He just steps into like basically like the entry hall of this place. Has some like lanterns and stuff on.
First of all, I apologize about bothering you so late at night. I wouldn't have done it if I didn't think it was something of import. Secondly, we have found some things that I can all but guarantee you that Firebrand had some sort of setup. We have found evidence that it did happen. We need something more concrete, and we'd like to speak to you and some of the other cabinet members about it. Council
Holy
members.
shit! The cabinet.
We gotta exclude the president.
Ah! Holy shit! What you mean? You said you found what kind of evidence did you find?
We can talk about all of that.
All right. Where, when?
Our boat tonight. An hour and 15 minutes from now.
All right. Okay.
As quiet as you can be about it.
I'll do my best. I'll step out. Not many folks are awake right now. Mine is hard work, so I conk out pretty easy most of the time, unless they're in their cups. I'll be as quiet as I can be. Yeah.
Thank you.
If you found concrete evidence, then that's fantastic. That could change a lot.
You could, but we're gonna need your help for it. So, hopefully, with the council's guidance, we can make some more progress on this before it's too late.
Of course, yes.
Thank you. I'll open the door. Have a good night.
You as well. Just kind of. What was that?
I'll just teleport out of there.
Oh shit. Gloob actually can cast fucking dimension door. Did buy the cloak. All right. So you're making your way off to Ida Owlin's place.
Yep.
Okay. Are you wanting to stealth your way back over there as well?
Yep.
All right. Go ahead and roll it.
25 or
Nice.
25.
25. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. All right, so you said you are stealthing, so you are moving slower than you would otherwise. But you are slowly but surely you make your way over there, coming up on Ida Allen's estate, which does have significantly more coverage than the manor house of the miners. Are you trying to do the same?
Yep, same exact way.
Okay, so he's kind of shock. hard for these guys not to be fucking karate chop hands at you like.
I'll high five them if they karate chop hands at me. What's that?
What are you doing here?
Here to talk to Miss Owlin.
It was the middle of the night.
I know, it's very important.
Maybe persuasion check for me.
My luck.
I would note that the some of the guards that kind of keep an eye on Alan's place are not like regular. I say regular, like they're not soldiers or like regular guardsmen. These are some like household
Gotcha.
guards.
My luck continues. 17 plus 1 for 18.
18.
You say household like she got some high tier man at arms, or like it's
No.
just fucking
No,
butlers and shit.
No, neither. But like high tier man at arms maybe a strong word, but these are people like they live at her house, like they live
Gotcha,
there.
gotcha.
They are part of the household.
Yep.
Like they are separate entities. Like what you figure just based off of like a purely visual thing that they're probably somewhere between like the militia and the soldiers, like in terms of like how much training and experience they have.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was throwing out for a minute. I was like, she out here with like, oh shit. Okay.
I mean, she's got money. Like she can afford some private contractors, I suppose. Some old PMCs. Gosh, kind of. I'll check if she's awake. And if she'll see you, then so be it.
Thank you.
Just kind of nods out. One guard kind of flags down another that had been kind of patrolling somewhere else to kind of take his place right there for the moment. Steps off down.
Same conversation.
Same conversation.
Anything weird lately? Different people around?
El-
Anybody that's...
You've basically almost the exact same conversation. They're just like, what do you mean?
Yep. Just making conversation.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
That red lady's been around for a good long while now. She definitely stands out a little bit. What's that, Captain Zandros. Her stuff's real expensive.
The money vortex.
You're not wrong.
Friend stuck his head in there once, told me about it. Sad not to waste my time. Like,
You got to go to pay for it. Some nice things.
I don't know who is besides maybe Miss Owland and some of her peers.
Folds ring hands together.
Kind of sees him and just kind of raises an eyebrow, kind of like,
I really hope that Gloob just keeps collecting like jewelry, but you never ever clarify what it is. You just say his 8,000 gold worth of jewelry.
Oh my god. After a certain point, like if you're nickel and diming it, he doesn't have enough appendages for that much jewelry. You gotta start going quality over quantity at some point.
You know, if you have enough rings, you can wear them like a necklace, right?
Oh my fucking god! I think that stops being impressive and is like it's kind of trashy. Like, you wearing your rings like a necklace? What a fool! Like,
Oh, you're a fool till you're wearing 10 years of their salary around your neck.
If it's that many rings, he might be taking like a move speed penalty. He'd be like,
He's over here like Mr. T the Frog.
I can no longer do my somatic components for my 2 spell.
I can't bend but you can't draw your sword. You can't bend your fingers at all. I'd say you do at least a D4 of like backhand damage if you're able to.
Hell yeah.
Your unarmed strikes do 1d4 plus strength mod, like. Oh god. Anywho, let's see if Miss Owland is awake. Jesus Christ, y'all's fucking luck is like running very true, like on both sides of the screen. It's just
The
crazy.
universe knows what's right.
Fucking apparently, good lord. I have to start telling the universe to shut the fuck up. Like. But anywho, probably a bit longer than with Manistrad. But eventually Eda does come down. It's hard to tell the difference with her being woken up. She's not a particularly ostentatious woman and keeps her hair kind of like in like a bun anyway. So You think there may be some stray hairs, but whatever clothes she chose to throw on looks almost exactly the same. Does this woman sleep? It's a fucking mystery. Like, who knows? Just kind of comes walking out behind him.
I'm gonna try to, as soon as I see her coming out, I'm gonna try to like meet her most of the way to her door. Like just walk past that front guard gate.
Unless you're gonna try to like acrobatics your way past them, they just kind of like block your path. Like,
no, 100% gonna like try to smooth. It's an 18 plus 11 for 29
on an acrobatics check.
Yeah,
just kind of
just
as you kind of they go to kind of block your path. You just kind of whoop and go. Where you can't.
Miss Outlet, please, you don't have to come out to meet me. We can talk inside.
I was told it was quite urgent, so I figured that you would like to speak immediately.
Yes, we can. Right inside your front door is fine.
Just kind of looks at you for a second. If he says it will be short, then it will be fine. Just come stand at the door, and you can escort him back out. Cards. Yes, ma'am. Steps back to the entryway of like that primary house. Steps inside and closes the door all the way. And what is it that could be so important at this hour?
We found concrete evidence that Firebrand was set up. Mostly concrete. It's good enough for us, but we need to continue searching in, and for that we need your help. Yes, really. We'd like to have you at a meeting on our boat in about an hour from now to talk about this and present what we have.
And I suppose that you do not wish to share until then.
Unfortunately, I wish I understood more of it than I do, but Julie and Bart and Jakob would probably be better at explaining a lot of it than I would.
Roll a persuasion check for me.
Gonna name drop Julian since she seems to like him.
He's a more known figure.
Turns out she secretly just fucking hates him, and Julian has no idea.
Did you find anything in that one?
Natural 20 plus 1.
What?
Jesus Christ. Next few beats.
I'm not even mad because last session you kept having some rough rolls, so it's about time.
I must admit that I am not entirely comfortable with the way that things have proceeded, regardless of how official and correct they appear. When is it that you wish to have this meeting?
As I said, about an hour from now on our boat at the docks.
I see.
We want to try to keep this as quiet as possible for obvious reasons. The people that we're up against, well, they're not playing by the rules, and I think at this point we don't need to either.
I will be as surreptitious as I am able.
Glue will take his hat off and give her a bow.
Well, I will see you and your friends shortly.
Open the door. Have a good night.
You as well.
Just imagine Gloob asking one of the guards, what does surreptitious mean?
God damn it.
I was busy envisioning the bow, because my headcanon that I cannot change is that the hat is like 3 times the size of Gloob, so it's like the whole bitch comes off.
Jesus Christ. It's
custom made, and I spent a good bit of money.
I know, like I said,
so.
I'm trying to fix this, and I just cannot adjust it in my head that Gloob's walking around.
What's
with
that?
this-
Is it one of the scary movies where the sheriff's hat gets bigger
Yes.
with every
Yeah.
scene she's in?
Yep.
It's like that. Every session, Gloom's hat gets a little bit bigger. Just a little teensy bit. Good lord. Okay. But you get escorted back off of the grounds of Owlland Estate. You just make your way back to the boat.
Yep. I'll stealth from here.
Okay.
And head to the boat.
All right, roll one more stealth check for me.
21.
Very nice. All right. So not quite as stealthy as your last couple of stealth checks, but still seeming to pass by unnoticed. All the people that you spot along the street. Making your way back to the boat, you figure you have maybe 45 minutes before the times all that you all kind of start to line up with where you had requested everybody's presence.
As soon as I get back to the boat, I will completely ignore Darby's presence wherever he is. I will walk into the kitchen.
Okay.
And close the door behind me. And is Darby in the kitchen?
I will say that Darby kind of seeing the general goings on, just kind of I will seem very engaged. If you need me, I'll be on the deck.
Yeah.
So that's like when he first arrived. So he's just kind of out there. Seems to be just kind of hanging out up there. He's got Clary. He just seems to be kind of whispering to her.
In that case, I'll just completely ignore him and walk in, close the door behind me. Okay. First, any luck on the cipher? Or the other parts of it?
Progress, but it's a whole lot.
Yeah.
Kind of gestures at just a scattering of papers
Yeah.
with like notes and little tidbits drawn all over them.
Julian, I'll say, like, yeah, with your 22, you definitely seem to be getting somewhere. It's definitely going to take you a while, though. You don't have anything out of it yet. With it having only been about 45 minutes or closer to an hour, I suppose, at this point.
Is it done with the same type of cipher that the letter was done with?
It does not seem to match, no. It does not seem to have been the same one.
Julian's out here with a whole conspiracy board to try and pin together all the different bits.
So, all of them have agreed to come.
That's great.
Jacob is going to try to get a hold of some handwriting for us. If he doesn't deliver on that, I can still make my way into the council chamber later tonight. But he says that he'll do it. And no one's comfortable with this, even us. So I can't expect any of them to be. But they've all agreed, and they're on their way probably an hour from now, maybe.
All right, plenty of time.
So I told them that we had evidence that Firebrand was set up for sure. And I think that's about it, to be honest. But
Right.
they seemed eager to see that.
All right. Well, Julian's been trying to figure out this other cipher. I don't know if you cracked the other one pretty quick. I don't know, maybe you could help him over the next hour or so.
Julian will gesture towards the chair next to him on the table in front of just this absolute clusterfuck of papers and ink.
Jacob is face down on the table, sleeping.
Big snore.
Hey, you're on my notes.
What?
Don't sleep on the notes.
Oh.
Drooling on my.
Just like reaches over and like tries to clear up some of the.
Just
A little
wakes
bit of
up and
drool on it.
throws a javelin of lightning.
Got that? Huh? It's like when you wake up from those really good naps, you just kind of like, it's just kind of, Jules just kind of gotten on the side of your face. You're just kind of, what? That was really good in the middle of school naps. This is really in the middle of class. You're just kind of.
You don't know if you slept for, 10 minutes or 3 days.
You're just like, what year is it? Ah!
Yeah, I definitely was figuring out what the cipher's saying.
Good.
You're figuring out what your eyelids are saying, but don't smear my ink.
Yeah, this I'm gonna push like the papers out of the way.
No,
where
I
was
need it right
sleeping.
there. Stop it. No, stay up. That's where it needs to be. Got him organized.
Starts to nod off again.
It's on a spray bottle.
I'll just get my unseen serpent and just go over there and hover over Jakob and like just give him a wet willy every time he tries to go to sleep.
Oh, God damn.
How?
Never
It has
used so
no
effectively.
saliva. How is it giving him a wet willy?
It
Cup of
gives him a
water.
willy then.
It's
You just feel.
Gives him a dry willy, I guess.
I don't like that at all.
Somehow the sentence is not better.
Yeah, could you
Mark
just
cast dry willy.
You never go in dry willy.
Jesus Christ.
okay.
Is that a cantrip?
All right, no. That's not one you know, at least. Like, you're not a fucking. You're the wrong. That's the wrong domain. You don't got that. God fucking damn it.
That's some cleric of Olidamara type shit right there.
God fucking shit. Okay. Is there anything in particular anybody's wanting to do while y'all wait for them to all show up?
I'll help Julian with the cipher as much as I can.
Yeah, we just keep on keeping on.
Gotcha. This one, I will say. Somebody say something real quick. Thank you. This one I'll say. Gloob. We're not gonna roll any extra stuff, but going off of what Julian's already working with, this one definitely seems harder than the other one. Looks like maybe either whoever wrote the other one wasn't as good, or maybe they didn't quite care as much with what was contained in that letter, or who knows. Like, just for whatever reason, this one seems harder, and longer. Maybe it's the length that makes the difference. Who knows? But you definitely sit there and you start cracking on with him on that. But after close on 40 somewhere between 40 minutes and 50 minutes, they do start to trickle in. The first of them being Jacob, showing up in kind of like a cloak pulled up around himself. Doesn't seem to be wearing, like, still seems to have like some of his leathers and stuff on, like his guardsman's leathers and his like a little bit of his armor, but doesn't have his tabard on at the very least. Just kind of comes stepping on the boat. Comes sit down. Not long after him is Copperlocks. Seem to be just kind of in overall darker clothes, just kind of keeping her head down as well. And lastly is Miss Owland. Apparently her most surreptitious is not super surreptitious. As you guys do note, along with her, a couple of her household guard, who, but a little, they're not out here trying to draw attention to themselves. It looks like they're maybe being a little more discreet, like they have some like billy clubs or whatever instead of like spears and shields. But they just kind of make their way onto the deck, and they just kind of stop outside the kitchen where everybody else has kind of begun to gather, and kind of looking over at Darby, and Darby's kind of, "Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?" And they're just kind of hanging out, trying to not look like guards, ending up looking more like thugs, maybe. Not a bunch better. not really better at all. But I see I'll come in. Everybody kind of comes in and is this everybody that we're expecting? He's looking at you guys, and this is from Jacob.
Yes.
All right. Kind of pulls out from in his cloak a pile of just some various and sundry papers and
I will
things.
take them quickly as Jacob sets them down, and I'm gonna hand them over to Bart.
Yeah, I'm just some missives and things that
Thank you for
from
that.
back and forth that had been in Firebrand's paperwork and desk.
We're gonna need to sit at a different table. I've got a whole system here.
It looks like you've got a lot going on, yeah. There is not another table in that room.
Yeah, this is very
This is the only table in that room. You got some barrels and stuff that are
Yeah, Julian will
from,
like,
like,
roll over a
storage.
barrel.
Yeah, we got these souffles and basically what are like, I guess like cups that double as beer mugs / big coffee cups. Just the souffles coming out of them. Like, all right,
You just got them
everybody.
in a bowl. Like,
Yeah, they just
here you go.
probably peek my head out and just like just hand two of them to the people that are out there with the.
Yeah, they're just kind of. Oh shit. No, thanks.
Yep.
I think.
He's a really good cook.
Yeah, just here. Smells damn good. But you just kind of start to gather around. Your friend said that you had concrete evidence that you had gathered, proving Firebrand's innocence.
Well, the concrete evidence is more evidence of foul play against him. Less specific, but definitely a strong lead.
Anything at this point is better than the nothing that we had before. I think we can all agree. And just kind of side-eyeing Ida a little bit, but kind of.
March, you want to give him the rundown? You're the best descriptively.
Sure. Well, we went to Firebrand's place and we saw that there were a number of additions made to his room, and of which some of them seemed like they were a little new, and over time,
How new are we talking here? It
No.
definitely didn't look like fresh woodwork had been done when they were initially
Not-
examining.
not fresh, but what we found seemed like it would have been well into the whole situation of whenever the Swahagan stuff really started getting kicked off.
Are you intentionally lying?
No, I thought you said that it was about,
This was definitely
like a couple-
before.
right.
Yeah, it was definitely
But, like
before
you said,
anything with the
a couple-
Sahuagin had
Like a
occurred.
couple of months back, right?
Yeah. So definitely before anything with the Sahuagin had come up.
There's a mobilization of an entire race of people.
Yeah.
I
was checking to make sure that you didn't mean like with it, like with Saltmarsh's involvement in this issue. Okay.
Oh, they was dating back since before all of this mess started to begin with lizard folk and the Swahagi. So, or right, or anyway, yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Wait, before?
Right. It's been happening since before Saltmarsh got involved, but after it had already been started. There had already been
Right, yeah.
Swahagan mobilizing on.
Yeah, it sounded like the lizard folk had been displaced for a good bit before we got involved. Yeah.
Right. And anyway, to that end, we also found that there's evidences of people breaking into Firebrand's room as well. People
Someone-
broke it. Yeah, from the window in the second story. He'd
Someone
definitely been
very good as well.
right.
I'm very good, and I'll like sleight of hand a bracelet off of Ida Owland or something, and just hold it in front of her, like someone better than me.
He just reaches out and plucks the bracelet back out of your hand. Point is well made. But if this was from before we knew anything about it, that seems relevant.
Certainly not something that's been brewing for years.
Right.
Like some of the evidence suggested originally.
Right.
We're getting new containers for old information, I guess you could say, which doesn't make much sense.
Why? But if this was before we knew of the Sahuagin, why was it there in place already?
I mean, maybe it was orchestrated from the very beginning. I don't know. But it doesn't make it like a sense for it to be constructed in the manner that it was, if you get my meaning.
One thought I even had was perhaps they had already been planning on handling the situation with Firebrand, and the conflict with the lizard folk proved a good scapegoat.
But what? Handling him for why though? That's what I don't. Why would they pin it on Firebrand?
Might have been
Questions we
getting
don't have
too
answers
popular.
to yet.
What was that, Jakob?
Might have been getting too popular too fast.
I
mean,
assure you, he was not getting particularly popular very quickly with the local populace. No offense.
I'm talking about beforehand. He might have been sent down here to, try to, push him off to some backwater town. No offense, Julian. And where not a lot of people are going to be looking, and then, throw him in jail for being a traitor.
Why though?
Well, some people are working with the Swahagin, right? Swahagin did this, right? I don't know if any involvement the Sea Princes have had in any of this, but what I do know is that I highly doubt Firebrand was sending messages to them. And in this whole conflict, no one saw a single pirate boat helping the Swahagin, if I recall correctly.
To be fair, they wouldn't have, unless they just decided to ditch the plan that we have been presented with altogether.
Okay.
There were no reports of vessels flying flags under the pirates, even from the sea elves, other aquatic races with which we were allied.
Roll a deception check. Y'all never asked any of that kind of information. That is not something Julian knows.
That was a question. He was like saying that's something never reported. Like,
quite frankly, I don't. None that were close by. Any and all Navy assets that we had available were much closer, keeping a defensive perimeter or scouting in the direction of the Sahuagin's lair.
That's what I was asking.
But
not
none.
Our assets.
I don't think we thought to ask. The Sea Princes weren't exactly on our radar at the time. We're a little preoccupied. They didn't report any threatening vessels, no. If that is what you're asking.
More so, their scouts never got any records of the Sahuagin engaging with craft. Like talking, trading, anything of that sort.
Yeah, not that I've seen on record, no. Or at least not that they found pertinent, but I don't know why they wouldn't. But if this was going on, well, obviously the conflict with the lizard folk had been going on beforehand. We don't know what level of communication may have been had with them if they were in any kind of cahoots. They may have just pointed at him and said, go. Relying on them being nasty, aggressive fuckers.
Yeah, bloodthirsty assholes can be easy to guide, I would imagine.
Right.
Regardless the details, we have proven that there is some kind of underhanded trickery going on. And while we have nothing entirely solid, there is proof that there was moves made against Firebrand. Surreptitiously.
It definitely calls for there to be possible, at the very least. Cause for looking a little closer, perhaps.
Cause for looking at the people in your midst and if you should trust them or not.
I suppose. Do you have particular suspicions that you would wish to inform us of?
None yet.
I would have Go ahead.
If there's a question of whether or not the sea elves or any of them had to deal with any of the sea princes during the engagements, I can ask Lickety Split. I can message Oceanus or his father.
Couldn't hurt, could it? If I mean to know one way or the other whether they were. I mean, I definitely don't. I feel like we would have heard of any confrontations with them, perhaps, but you would have seen something that they found suspicious that they just didn't happen to report.
And well, we went over to Primwater's house and did a little bit of digging around in there as well. Found a couple of things. One book that had some encoded messages on certain pages, and another finely hidden letter with a magical implement hidden underneath his bed in a small panel in the wall.
Definitely not. Oh, my apologies.
That panel looked like it had been there for a little while, so it wasn't anything new. But we were able to, Gloob here was able to decipher what the letter meant, and essentially...
My man said that you didn't find anything.
Right. Don't know who we can trust in this town. I apologize for the deception. It wasn't very neighborly of me.
Uh-huh.
I brought you here. We're not trying to hide it from you.
You also said that you would bring any evidence you found to me, but here we are.
We did, in a roundabout sort of way. We just didn't bring it to your man.
Sure. Continue.
But it essentially says, it's a letter saying, use this magical implement, contact me, and let me know that you're in some type of trouble, or this, that, or the other. And to use this, which is a magical implement, whenever you break this stick, it'll show you a certain place, a predetermined place. And that within an hour, or after an hour's time of making contact with this unknown person, that there will be instructions at the place that this broken stick will show you with magic.
I don't know if you're familiar with these things, but they are single use. Once we use it.
Can't say that I am in particular familiarity with those kind of magical implements myself. Astra just kind of shakes her head, and Jacob is still just kind of looks at least a little put off by the revelation, but doesn't seem to be disengaging from the conversation. This note, you said you decoded it. Do you mind if we take a look? If that's okay.
Is it reasonable to believe that Julian would have had like a quick jotted translation on one of his notes or something?
I imagine that Gloob probably wrote it down when he was going through the translation, unless Gloob says otherwise.
No.
Yeah,
I definitely would have.
Hand it on over.
Jacob just kind of takes it and kind of holds them side by side with the original, and just kind of looks at the two of them. Just kind of can't say that code breaking was really ever my forte. He just kind of sets the original note down. Looks at the other one. There's no signature. Nothing. This is Ward. sound familiar to anybody?
Is a name many of y'all recognize, or an alias that maybe you can put together? Maybe 4 initials?
Just kind of looks at it. Nothing that springs to mind. Glances over at Copperlocks and Howland, who both just kind of. I mean, I believe there's. I'm sure that I believe there's somebody named Ward. The name's as a surname sounds familiar, but it also isn't exactly rare.
Right.
I think there are at least a handful of wards within Saltmarsh itself, but
Now's a great time for me not to have my fucking notes.
none that I would immediately pin as being gifted in the arcane.
Did Primwater have anyone who might have been a patron to him to be a ward of someone else?
Not that I'm aware.
I assumed it was just speaking to Primwater as a subordinate, saying that I'm responsible for you as my contact in Saltmarsh.
As I said to you previously, and she kind of looks over at Jacob and Copperlocks. He made his money in the ways he made his money that we were aware of, but we were not privy to details of his dealings. You knew he was a smuggler. Yes. As many are here in Saltmarsh. None who ever have hurt anybody. Jacob just kind of narrows his eyes a little bit.
If the line was drawn at smuggling and we could be sure of that, we would not be bringing these things to your attention. We have better things to do than track down the business dealings of someone with extracurricular income. The possibility of this being piracy or involvement with is our concern.
I think
Anybody pulling as much coin as he was through his job was doing some kind of business with pirates.
Right. I think what we're getting at here is that if someone would have been doing their due diligence, we probably would have found out about this connection a long time ago.
I assure you that it was not for lack of trying.
Oh, no, I don't mean anything on y'all. I'm just saying if everyone didn't turn kind of a cheek to some kinds of things.
The single eyebrow from Julian.
Yeah, Ada just kind of looks over.
Regardless.
Disrupting ways of life did not seem.
Right, no, I understand. Not blaming nobody. That's not what we're here for.
Julian's interjecting to try and move the conversation along. He's like,
regardless, besides this note, we also found concealed in a book of poems what we believe to be other messages or notes of some kind. They are not deciphered yet.
Just kind of glance at the table. Seems like maybe it's a bit more complex.
Quite a bit so, and I'm not a linguist. Just a reader.
From what little I saw, I was a bit tired. It does look like he's doing a pretty good job of defining it.
Well, I mean, if you can
but
get
it's gonna
into
take
it.
time.
Right.
I see. How much time?
We'll probably be working throughout the night to try to get things situated just right. I mean,
what percentage would you say Julian was through in that hour or so?
After an hour or so? Maybe somewhere around 10%. Maybe. not much. You're still kind of finding letters that correspond so that you can try to start putting words together.
Haven't made that much progress, just the starting point, but I'll be working well into tomorrow on it.
I see. And assuming that this brings forth useful or relevant information, what do you plan to do with it?
Well,
depends on. Oh, go ahead.
Well, we're planning on letting you fine folk know if y'all are all interested in trying to get to the truth of this situation. I mean, this being kind of a meeting so that everyone's on the same page of what we believe to be Firebrand being innocent, being wrongfully accused, and someone trying to put him away for whatever reason, be it personally putting him away or putting him away because he was there and convenient to be put away.
There's definitely as this conversation has gone on and discussions of smuggling and perhaps known quantities and perhaps small lies have kind of surfaced, is definitely there's a sense of general wariness among interim guard captain and the two council members that you guys have present. What we may be able to do with it is possibly limited. Of course, that depends on what is contained within this information. And as you said, she just kind of glances off to the side. We can't be sure who we can trust, even within Saltmarsh.
That was going to be my next comment. It was my strong belief before that all tampering had been done from outside forces. But asking around, especially within the time period of the tampering within Firebrand's house, no evidence of outsiders. Strong chance someone in Saltmarsh is involved somehow.
He just looks around, looking incredibly uncomfortable with the information he just spoke.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And another thing is that, as y'all are all surely noticing, by this point there's not an Anders in this room. He seems to have bought everything that went down hook, line, and sinker. If that even needed to be said, probably not the best idea to let him know.
Even if all evidence eventually leads us to Firebrand's guilt, and if so, so be it. But it will be from actual investigation, not the passions of someone full of rage who won't open his eyes.
Anders has seemed to be very distressed since everything has happened. He's always been, I say always, from what I've seen of him, he's always seemed a bit of an excitable lad. This doesn't seem to have helped anything.
Right.
He just kind of looks vaguely, just for a moment, just looks kind of a little disturbed. He's just like, yes, that is a word for it, yes.
Just as all of this talk of trust and the sharing of information and anything like that, has anyone had any, through body language or facial expression, anything that seemed particularly out of place or more suspicious than people being given this kind of information would have?
Roll an insight check for me. You're just trying to garner if anybody's kind of reacting weirdly to this is being kind of shared.
I also wanted to do a specific inside check on the captain once he seemed a little bit put off by us having some evidence. If it was him being put off because we lied to him, or if it was, oh shit, these motherfuckers found something else.
Sure.
Don't
Go ahead
implicate me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Julian doesn't see anything.
Okay.
He can't tell.
Okay.
Yeah. I rolled one of Jones's dice over here. I got a 19.
Wow. Very good.
How am I this blind?
I rolled a 2, plus 3.
27.
Yeah. 20 with a okay. So 5 doesn't give you much. Just these guys. I'll say, Julian. These guys. I mean, they just seem generally wary, and definitely like they were asked here to meet you guys here in the dead of night. Specifically requested to be kind of sneaky about it when that isn't necessarily anything that any of these people are very good at. So you're kind of.
Julian knows he wasn't holding his breath.
Yeah, he's like, maybe they could be. Who knows? They could be fishy. They could also be completely playing it straight. You have no idea.
Julian's already wrapped up in like emotions of the situation and everything,
Right.
obviously.
With the 27 specifically for Jacob, when you kind of, like I said, he's kind of put off. It definitely seems to be in the. You guys lied, and that means you guys had this for however long you've had it. And while he's not like immediately suspicious of you, trust has definitely been lost. Like he's now more wary of you guys than he was previously, and like fucking 27. Like you figure he may not. He probably isn't as likely to take you guys at your word anymore.
Yep.
He probably a little more iffy on information that he's getting from you guys as this conversation progresses.
All right.
Well, I know Glue mentioned that Firebrand's windows picked by somebody that had a certain amount of skill. I know this is probably a long shot, but do any of y'all know of anybody in Saltmarsh that matches that description? A particularly good thief, or I don't know, handyman, locksmith?
Not with the way you were describing, not that I can think of. Unless they are. Anybody who's that good has probably made a point of being unknown. Especially since arrivals of the law-keeping sort. Just kind of looking over at Jacob. We have not come across anybody that skilled. No. And as someone whose job it is to arrest thieves and other criminals, if they're that good, I think the odds of us just stumbling across them are probably pretty slim.
Right.
They definitely don't seem to pursue their craft very frequently, as we don't have a ton of unsolved robberies here within Saltmarsh.
You probably wouldn't know if this person entered your residence.
If they were stealing from you, you'd still know something was missing, though. If it was anything valuable.
In this case, it seems more like they might have been putting something in.
Right. So, if somebody's here, then...
By the way, is this a common thing? Do all of y'all have, like, hidden compartments all over your house?
Everybody just kind of looks at each other. It's like, no.
Alright, just check. I mean...
Insight.
Like that was what Jacob says, and Manstrod's like, not particularly, no. And Ada just kind of... I have...
Particularly? We give him a Larry David
Yeah.
down on that.
But Ida's just kind of... There are certain valuables that we made a point to make harder to locate for aforementioned burglars. But
Sure.
Julian just flaps his hand.
Rich people all got hidey holes for their jewels.
not of the sort that you have described being present in either Firebrand's residence or Primwater's estate.
Right. Which his residence is attached to a freaking barracks, so it's
Correct.
not like he was super rich or anything.
No.
Yeah.
The question was directed at a bunch of politicians, so.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And the captain.
This dude was until recently like a lieutenant. Like he's not. He's definitely in the similar camp of Firebrand of being like not particularly wealthy. I know somebody said they were rolling an insight check. I lost track of who said that.
Gloob.
Glue.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
To see if they were lying about hidey holes.
Right.
Where's that 19? Where's
5.
it?
5.
Shit.
You don't fucking know, man. You're just like, Ida said she does, but like, maybe who is she talking about? All of them? Who knows? It's a fucking mystery.
Insight 5 club. Give me a high five, Gloob.
I can't big. Glib's ever doing that.
Well, I mean, all y'all were here because y'all at least had some sort of a semblance that y'all believed that Firebrand might have been innocent. So, and we all visited y'all earlier today, and I was just, I mean, is there anything that y'all know that might not be evident to us who just have been in town for a day, trying to piece all this stuff together?
As you said, you spoke to each of us, and
Right.
I can't speak for anybody else, but I told you what I could of the event itself. And to clarify, I came under the presumption that I was being presented very concrete evidence of Firebrand's innocence, which, while it is fishy, I have not been given. Somebody could have tampered. He could have installed it more recently himself. If he is who the investigator and his men said he was.
Right.
Miss Howland, we have proved to you that someone has broken into Firebrand's place. You have known Firebrand for how long and known him to be at least a decent man. Yeah, we don't have concrete proof, and if that's my mistake on the words, that was the case. Where we know now that someone has at least messed up. Before, we weren't sure if Firebrand was guilty or not. We were in the same boat that you were. But we all in this room now know that someone definitely broke into Firebrand's place. Someone highly skilled. The timing doesn't line up on how old the evidence is and how old those hidey holes are. We could make a number of excuses for why that is, but it doesn't add up.
This is the kind of information, while not concrete, is concrete enough that if it came to trial by jury, I think you'd have a good chance. But furthermore, and more importantly, it points at more to be found, which was information we did not have before. Now we know that there is more to be found. More already found, just to be deciphered.
Points over at the table.
Indeed. And you shall be pursuing this, then.
Vigorously.
Right.
Then I assume you'll also be the ones to take it to Seaton and present it.
Most likely not.
Just kind of raises her eyebrows and looks at you.
Well, first off, we're not really politicians. We don't know the processes and procedures, nor do our names carry any weight. To make things more difficult, there's a matter of a kidnapping and a life or death situation we got to take out in the water, which we need to leave as soon as possible. But we're in a situation of one life on the line and another life being on the line. And we're caught in the middle of both of them right now. So we're trying to solve this thing or get as much evidence as we can before we absolutely have to leave, which may be by sundown tomorrow for all I know.
Also, I'm not allowed in Seaton.
And why is that?
Why would you? Why would you say
Like all three heads just kind of turn to look at.
Also,
Wait,
we're criminals.
What?
Yeah, wait,
Why
when-
is that?
When they say, why is that, Julian will immediately be like,
They don't like the way that we don't play by the rules when it comes to our investigations.
The same way.
Jacob's eyes. You certain?
yeah, just kind of like gestures at the table again.
mentioning that there was a conflict down here made people, and by people I mean the guard, instructed to keep such talk under wraps extraordinarily uncomfortable. Like, they have been given orders for there to be no talk about a conflict, a war happening in Saltmarsh, which just seems very fishy to me, right? I mean, I don't know if it, you know, it could be, right? It could be that the Duke got his man to go down the salt marsh and he tried to cause an insurrection with pirates and don't want people to know that he put the wrong man down there, right?
As he's saying that part, Julian's doing his best to make eye contact with Ida and just roll his eyes into the back of his head.
But if that were the case, they would still wouldn't have held back support for Saltmarsh when we were under attack from a group of Swahagin. Something's going on. It don't make no sense for Seaton not to give Saltmarsh support.
And you figured that with the sterling reputation that you've garnered in your time in Seaton, that they'll take evidence that you present them with, or that you have gifted to us, without question.
I mean,
That's
maybe
why
if I'm not there for the presentation of the evidence, then maybe.
Yeah. And where it came from will still be from your hands.
Solid enough evidence is evidence, and if they don't take it, they're exactly as corrupt as I accused them of being in the first place.
Perhaps.
I mean, if there is evidence and they don't take it, then I mean, ultimately they just wanted to kill a man, and that's, I mean, that'll just show it. And you know, I don't think that's what will happen, but if that is what happens, then I mean, it makes it clear to everyone that, you know, there's more that's going on than meets the eye.
And what if that? And what if you're not able to uncover anything else that supports this?
Then he dies.
Yeah, it was as simple as that.
Firebrand threw his lot in with the wrong crew.
I mean, he'll stand trial, and I mean, if the evidence is too much against him, then yes, he will die.
Or if there's not enough evidence to protect him.
We trust everyone in this room. That's why we brought you on board to this. We didn't have to. I'll look at Jacob when I say that. But we did, because we trust you and we think everybody in here is on board with keeping Firebrand alive. An innocent man alive. I told every single one of you, we're not playing by our rules. Right now we're playing by theirs. And we're going to have to figure out this. If we don't, he's dead. So, as to what you tell them about this information that you're being given, to this evidence, these are the fruits of your investigations, Jacob. You don't have to mention our name once.
Yes, I will.
And that's a risk you're taking with Firebrand's life, and I don't know what to tell you.
If I lied about where I came by it, it'd be worse. They have magics that these investigators have at their command. Some of them, anyway. This one definitely seemed to be one of them.
That's fine.
Makes lying hard and ill-advised.
Yeah, I know a little bit about that.
I mean, did they use this magics against Firebrand? If you can't lie under this magic, then why not just? I mean, I guess in Saltmarsh, it probably would have been better to immediately. If you could have just been like, oh, well, he can't lie now, so say in front of everybody that if you did or didn't work with the pirates.
Like I said, Not all of them.
Unfortunately, it's the person who casts that spell that knows whether they did or not, and it's how truthful or false they are, and how much folks believe them. If it had a red light or green light, we'd all be in a better state. But
From what
I'm
I
not
understand,
much
it's
a
more
magic
of a
fan.
screening process.
I can do it. I'm planning to if y'all all agree to it, just to make sure. So we know we can trust each other, or I suppose, I guess it would be a matter of y'all trusting me that I'm saying that everyone else here is trusted.
Bart wouldn't lie.
Really?
Really.
He clearly doesn't seem to necessarily believe that. Not in its entirety, anyway. So, if the rest of this investigation will not be conducted by yourselves, and you wish it to be conducted by those present in this room, just kind of looks over at Copperlocks and Jacob. Do those of us present feel like this is something that we can do? I am so far. Goddamn. I'm almost the opposite of being an investigator than as I think I can get. My work's pretty physical, purely and simply, and administrative for the rest. I can do what I can, but simple crime is more of what I'm familiar with, but I can do the best that I can. I don't take it that any of you have anybody you know in Seaton that may be particularly helpful in this endeavor. Any weight that they may lend to our cause.
Oh, I mean, you know, I don't know if the captain of the guard would work with you, but he's a mighty good fellow. You can always try that. I mean, I lived in Seaton for most of my life. I know a lot of people there. You need names, I can give you names.
Right, we spoke with Captain Garthman, and he seemed like he was well aware that there was some fishiness going on that didn't quite sit right with him.
You all said that there seemed to be pretty fishy across the board. Anybody you would trust to assist, aside from potentially this Captain Garthman. Anybody outside of the guard. Anybody
I
could
just kinda
lend weight to our words.
let out a little chuckle, like, I mean, I'm not sure to trust everyone that was in this room until they walked in it, so, you know.
Jakob, I want you to roll a wisdom check for me one more time, as you are being asked specifically.
Flash of genius.
Oh, what'd you get?
18.
18.
Hey.
Okay. As you're kind of rattling through those names like you're talking about, one does specifically kind of rise to the surface, especially when thinking about Captain Garthman. You kind of think of one Nitsalon Wantoshi, who was, for the vast majority of your life in Seaton, not an investigator in the sense of Carnal, not a military investigator, but a high-ranking guardsman who had pretty solid and impressive reputation up until a handful of years ago, when a lot of stuff came to light of corruption and perhaps some underhanded dealings and backdoor dealings, and he was stripped of rank and everything, but built up work as a private investigator.
All right.
And doesn't get nearly the traffic he used to, but people who are desperate enough will ask after him anyway.
Yeah, I will tell them about Nitsalon.
Last resort, maybe. But if he knows his business, then couldn't hurt to talk to him. Well,
There's no more information than any of y'all might have had that you can think of, that you might have thought of in the interim of us speaking earlier today and now.
everybody just kind of seems to be thinking and kind of shaking their heads, like no details that I think that I can concur with that be relevant. I don't think. Can't say that I have. No.
What about details on Aubrek Dralion?
What about him?
You know anything about him? About his dealings? And I'm not looking at Jacob. I'm going to be looking at Miss Alvin.
Just kind of purely recently, or how far back?
His history. The reason I ask is because immediately after we tried to salvage some wreckage of his, we were attacked by the Sea Princes.
They seem to be seeking you specifically, or?
I don't know that part of it really. What I do know is that very few people knew we were going out there, and Albert Jalian sent us out there. So if he's had an established relationship with the Sea Princes, that puts him on par with everybody else that had it. Primwater as well is having a relationship with the Sea Princes. So
Perhaps it could be worth investigating, but he didn't have the wealth that Primwater had amassed. No. And he has been destitute, very nearly, up until you rescued the wealth that he had perhaps unwisely compacted into that vessel. She kind of looks over at Jacob.
sounds like a desperate man.
Odds are good that he had at least dipped his toes in some amount of smuggling.
Does he have any other names or titles or anything like that? Just Albrecht Dralion of Saltmarsh.
As far as I'm aware, he's been a successful merchant. One point sought to find his fortunes in perhaps a larger locale. Fate struck him down to leave him here.
Was this larger locale an attempt to gain more wealth and more power?
Wealth would be my assumption, yes, perhaps to a hub of greater trade.
Seems like individuals that are a little bit too wealthy or a little bit too powerful seem to fall under some trying times in this area.
Perhaps. You said his vessel, the vessel containing his money, was found adrift. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
With undead and cult taking up residence.
Mm-hmm. Yes. From what we could piece together, it seemed like their ship had come across some type of island that might have had some, was it worshippers of Loth?
I don't know these gods. That's your job.
There's like a spidery idol that was in there. I'm not misremembering this, am I, DM?
Nope, that is correct. Y'all had found basically like captain's log. We have been like afouled on this place. Oh dear
Yeah,
God, we are being murdered.
Ah!
Ah!
You.
But yeah, basically, yeah. That's like I can't remember the exact details of the like of the notes and stuff that y'all read, but that's the gist of it. They ran afoul of an island with a cult of Loth on it, and they kind of wrecked their shit.
Yeah, they tried to make their escape or something along those lines, and it ended up there were some cult folk that were left on the ship. The rest of them were killed, and undead just, I guess, maintained on the ship ever since, not needing to eat or sleep or anything of the like.
The vast minority of the things you guys encountered on that ship were undead. The vast majority were spiders-like beings, as well as that one
So many spiders.
living
Right.
individual, the half-orc.
Right. Yeah. It was probably eating spiders that were eating. Yeah, there was some kind of caster folk on there, an orc or something of the like, and he was far gone from sanity.
I see. Was there? I mean, if any particular link could be found between these individuals and other misfortunes, then perhaps that could hold some water. But it sounds perhaps like they got a bit unlucky. But
I think
poor luck can be arranged for, I suppose.
I think we might want to look into this Nissalon as well. See his story. Talk to Abergalion again. Hear his story. If anybody was taking a particular interest in him around the time of his unfortunate accident. See if there's anybody else that. I mean, if the stories start piling up, stops being a coincidence.
Right.
Possibly. I assume since y'all are so desperate to leave soon, that you're not looking to speak to Mr. Wantoshi. It's something that you would like us to engage in. Nitsalon Wantoshi. That was his name.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Right. Probably wouldn't have a chance to do that.
Well, somebody can make a noise real quick.
Wow.
Oh.
Is there any other information that you all think can have acquired at this time?
I'm not sure quite right now. I mean, do any of y'all know anything about the Duke? I mean, I heard tale that he feels like Sea Prince has killed his brother, if I remember correct, something like that, and that's how he got his station.
Correct.
So I imagine public opinion is that he didn't care too much for Sea Princes, right?
Yeah. Hence,
Right.
this may very well escalate into a larger scale conflict with the Sea Princes. On the way things are going, it's quite likely.
Do y'all know of anyone who might have a big beef with him, or like any known Sea Princes that are trying to destabilize Seaton, have like a chip on their shoulder with him, or
None that have made themselves known. They've always been quite secretive. With the princes themselves always seem to act through other pirates.
right? I mean, I don't know if maybe we're looking at this the whole wrong way around. Maybe, Sea Princes had everything to do with this, and they saw just Firebrand as being too competent. They wanted to take him off the chessboard, so to speak. Planted false evidence in his bedroom and got him carried off.
If they have amassed enough military power that they were wishing to bait the Keola Navy into the open waters, then I suppose that's not impossible. I mean, and they've never been weak, I suppose. Not by the time we got here, but they didn't seem to be wishing to actively contest the coast.
Did any of y'all read any of the records that were recovered from the Swahagan stronghold?
Read is a strong word.
Translated, know what they actually said. There were all kinds of papers and stuff found in there.
Kind of, Jacob just kind of seems to think for a moment. Some
Anything
of the
that might
lizard
implement, cope like them.
That nothing that seemed to indicate other humanoid conspirators. There was a lot of plannings and seemed to be some battle plans and some things that seem to have been, if what Otho Kenton and her advisors, if I said was accurate, bullying of the smaller groups of Sahuagin. Basically, they forcibly gathered some of the more disparate, I guess, tribes. That's the best way to describe them, where they kind of hammered them into a whole force. Nothing that seemed to indicate why they did so, just that they were supremely confident.
All right.
So, if there were some other individuals that spurred them into action, they had not carried those missives and communications along with them on their conquest.
Speaking of missives, Captain Shepard, were you able to get that list of messengers that might have gone missing, coming back and forth between here and Seaton?
Yes, the messengers that didn't seem to make it to Seaton. He rummages around in his coat as well and pulls out like a folded up piece of paper and just kind of, not a ton, but like I said, some made it, some didn't.
All right. I'll get these copied down
rhyme or reason.
Get them back to you.
Yeah. It's not a super long list. While this is a relatively long-ish conflict.
Mm-hmm.
They were, they didn't have the time or the personnel to be sending people constantly. So it's a list of I'm trying to think of math and how long this thing was. I'd say of those that were missing on this list, it looks like it's about 8 people.
8 people? Okay. Yeah. I'll just copy those down real quick.
Sure.
Yep. I did want to do, like, out of character, I did want to do a lightning round zone of truth questioning of these folks, but I know we're like way past break time, so I don't know if we want to save that to the end, so to speak, after break or something.
So yeah, we'll go ahead and take our break right around now, as you're kind of like, if you wish to ascertain whether there's any false among us, then I think everybody's skeptical enough that if it turns out you're lying through your teeth, I don't think it'll shock anybody, or at least it won't be enough to completely turn anyone against each other. So sure, and kind of nods of affirmation from the West that at the very least they will bear it, even if they aren't gonna like put 100% weight upon the results. And that's where we'll take our break. Thank you everybody for being here with us. I hope y'all have had a good time. I know I am. This is juicy. But we're gonna go take a quick bio, get some drinks and everything. My mouth is dry as fuck. I don't know about anybody else. But we'll be right back. So y'all do some of the same, but leave Twitch up at the same place and come back when we come back and kind of vibe some more. But we'll be right back. Bye.
you
And hello, everybody. We're back again. You don't got to guess. We're literally sat right here. You know exactly who we are. If you don't, that's too bad. But we're Hard Knock Dice. It's right below my name. It's right below like my personal name, which is Ian, and then there's us as a group, which is Hard Knock Dice. The rest of these folks aren't actually, their names aren't actually what's underneath their names. That's their characters' names, if you couldn't guess. We're playing D&D. Specifically goes Saltmarsh. We actually have done, like, just wrapped up a first 3/4 of a session not long ago. And we're coming back for the last quarter because time's, yeah. Time's weird. But, that being said, we are back here to wrap up this session, which the first half was our party having a little bit of discussion about what they were going to do, deciding that they were going to gather up those within the town who had power, including the 2 of the remaining 3 council members, as well as the interim captain of the guard, to discuss some stuff with them. Gloob swiftly decrypting the small note that had been wrapped around the scrying stick, basically saying that it was some instructions with the only name of being Ward, who seemed to be whoever procured this stick. But being told that it definitely would keep for a long time, and that they would have to reach out to whoever gave them this stick, and then wait about an hour before using it to hopefully receive further instruction when viewing whatever the stick would allow them to view. Gloob started bebopping around Saltmarsh, talking to each of these individuals, first talking with the interim captain, Jacob Shepard, before talking to Manistrad Copperlocks and then talking to Eda Owland. Quite swiftly and quite effectively convincing all three of them to meet them at this ship that the party have basically been using as a hotel slash safe house slash base of operations for most of the times that they have been in Saltmarsh proper. Julian, meanwhile, beginning to work on cracking the encryption on this book of poetry, some of whose pages appear to be encoded. So he's starting to make a little bit of progress by the time Gloob returns. Shortly thereafter, their guests arriving. They have had a bit of discussion with them, explaining what they have found and what that might mean. A little bit of tension has been garnered, a little bit of trust lost in some areas, but still everybody seeming to remain focused, somewhat at least, majority focused on the same path, on this path forward, potentially proving Eleander Firebrand innocent, and hopefully preventing whatever it is that those that potentially framed him desired to occur. As we step back, they are going to a last-minute zone of truth cast by one Bartholomew Fairfurrow on these three to maybe allow them to get a little bit of more reassurance that these individuals can be trusted. So, if that is what you wish to do. Is this how I have not read A Zone of Truth in a minute? How exactly does it work, Bart?
All right, I will let you know.
Appreciate it.
And it's like real tricky.
You create a magical
Thanks, man.
zone that guards against deception in a 15-foot radius sphere centered on a point of your choice within range, which is 60 feet.
Nice.
Until the spell ends, creature enters the spell area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, must make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, creature can't speak a deliberate lie while in the radius. You know whether each creature succeeds or fails the saving throw. An affected creature is aware of the spell and thus can avoid to answer a question to which would normally respond with a lie. Such a creature can be evasive in its answer as long as it remains within the boundaries of the truth. Which is why we're going to go for yes or no questions.
All right, fair enough. Okay. I'm just checking something. You said it's a charisma save?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right, so you cast it. You did tell them that you were going to cast it?
Yeah. All right, I'm going to cast a spell. Just let it happen. Don't try to resist. Just kind of let the magic take you in.
You tried to resist. Glue rolled a 3.
Are you casting it on everybody?
Everyone in the room.
It's a radius,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Right,
I didn't
rolled a 3.
I didn't know if y'all were trying to spread it out
What did
to make
Julian
it
roll?
so just those guys.
Julian is
What's
not
your
rolling
what's your
against
spell save DC?
Spell save DC 16.
16. Okay.
They're rolling against it?
Does it say they can willingly fail?
I thought you could willingly fail any saving throw.
Who knows? I could just be rolling dice. You don't know.
Okay. I mean, I'll know if they resisted it.
Of the three of them, the only one that you note that resisted is Jacob.
Jake and kind of resisting there, Jacob. Is there doing that on purpose? Is there anything you're trying to hide?
These guys look around. I think for the moment that if I can, which I feel I have, I think I'd rather avoid magical persuasion.
I'm not persuading you to do anything. I'm just being able to detect whether you're telling the truth or not.
Magical persuasion, yes.
I mean, it's just all right.
What is Copperlocks and Owland's reaction to that?
the fact that Jacob has resisted the truth spell and admitted to doing so.
Ada just kind of is cutting eyes and definitely has an eyebrow raised. Mastrod looks a bit confused, but it's just kind of. Full faith doesn't feel like it hadn't been kept here. So I think I'll retain my opinion for the moment.
Jacob, I told you when we spoke earlier you had friends here.
Indeed, and I hope that I do. And either you trust me or you don't.
This is to make sure people can trust each other.
This is to establish trust.
And it's not looking too good right now.
Right. When we're gone and y'all three need to work together, this ain't going to work unless everyone's open about it.
Or it could not work at all. This is entirely on you, correct?
I mean, we're all trying to work together here. Or so I thought. I didn't expect this. And Bart's looking kind of worried.
Yeah,
Like
Julian's like tensed.
Jakob is leaning against the wall and would like to know his enemy.
Oh shit!
You have to spend it. I guess you can spend it. What are you trying to garner out of?
Oh
this?
no! I don't think we're going to be welcome in Saltmarsh either, bros.
His I would specifically look for two things, which I know takes 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Total class levels, if any, and fighter class levels.
So you are beginning this now.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just starting to kind of watch him. If you don't feel like you don't want to keep me in the loop anymore, I understand.
It's more than that. It's not a matter of just keeping you in the loop. It's trying to narrow down people who could be involved on the wrong end of things.
Mm-hmm.
And you're basically saying you don't want the easy out. You don't want the easy revelation that you're clean.
That you say
That's
I'm
mighty
clean.
suspicious in and of itself.
And what I'm saying is that some of my trust has been broken. And as the one who's casting the spell, correct me, of course, if I'm wrong, you could say I'm lying no matter what you choose.
If we were
No
on
matter
the
the
dirty
truth.
end of things, why would we have been pushing this further? We could have left it as it was and have already won.
He shrugs. I don't know.
I mean, you're absolutely right, Captain. I could just say, hey, he's lying about everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if that's what I wanted, you're just doing that job for me by saying no. You're making yourself look extraordinarily suspicious.
Guilty, even.
If that's what you so choose to believe, sure.
It's not just our opinion.
He's gonna
Is it
gesture
not?
over at the other council members.
Theirs too.
Is
there any gesture I can make that would make you regain trust in us to allow this to go forth? Try to find an amenable solution to this situation.
Why didn't you bring the evidence to me when you found it? Even if you didn't want to sit it with my man, sure. Why wait?
Because we literally just got it at the time that
it's been hours since then.
The sun was coming down.
The deal we had made was that you would bring whatever evidence you found to me so that I might.
And we did.
No, you did not.
We said we
Are you here or are you not?
Hold on.
This is not brought to me.
All right.
This is brought to you, where you began to take it under your own jurisdiction, which you do not possess. Might I remind you?
You barely do.
Let's calm down. Let's explain ourselves so we can understand how. All right. So we know that there's some fishy things that have been going on in Firebrand's place, which is on the barracks, which seems to say there's probably at least a few folk in those barracks who might have had a clue of what might have been going down if they heard some kind of construction at some point inside of Firebrand's bedroom. Kind of seemed like if we would have said, hey, if we find any evidence, we're not going to tell you shit, would have definitely made us not be
Or
available to find evidence.
you altered it.
We have no reason to alter it. It's not even
That I know of at this
Again,
moment, perhaps.
We could have left it as it was, and we would have already won. The fact that we are even involving ourselves at this juncture, spending our time in digging things up, instead of just letting it be, should be proof enough.
Maybe. Maybe not.
And as things stand, you are already the one on the most tentative footing, trust-wise, as you are not from here, and you are from the people who we already hold suspicion for.
Really?
I thought we had been doing well.
We had been until you lied to
so
me.
far.
Purposefully. Blatantly.
We didn't. No.
Necessarily.
Yes.
No. We didn't.
Really.
Yes.
Do
I know
tell.
it's a roundabout way that we brought you this, but we did, and it's because we couldn't trust your men.
I said
you
bring
we
it to me. You could have brought
And
it to
we have.
me. No, you
Yes.
did not. You
It's
had me
here-
come to the information after you had already spent hours with it.
We
No,
could have just not
that's
brought it to you
false.
at all.
That is false.
we got the information, brought it here, and then Gloob went to ground everyone up to look at the information. He looked over it for
30
less
minutes.
time than it took me to get the stove heated up.
And then I came straight to you. You were the first person I visited. If you're rejecting this right now, this is only on your own accord. It's nothing that we've done to break trust with you that's making you all of a sudden not want to tell the truth. So speak.
Out of curiosity, how many members of the party resisted the spell?
Not me.
None.
I did.
Nobody successfully. Jakob successfully. Okay, just curious.
Oh no! I tried to.
Okay. Gotcha. And if I continue to refuse?
Then we know that you can't be trusted and you're as good as a pirate's accomplice.
Somebody
Why
roll a
don't we
persuasion check for
ask-
me.
To get advantage because I've been talking to.
Sure.
Yeah, the guy.
On the dice, it is 2 15s, so that is simple enough. Persuasion is +4, total of 19.
This kind of seems to think for a minute. To assuage the thoughts of my fellows here within Saltmarsh. Fine. Beyond that,
Alright.
we'll see. So I'll say, you feel it take hold on all three.
Alright. Did any of y'all have any prior knowledge of Captain Firebrand? Of him being in line to be arrested?
Yeah, 8. No. No. No.
Did any of y'all know of any dealings with the Sea Princes and oh my god, I forgot the other guy. Silmore? What's his name? OOC?
Who are you
The
talking
other
about?
guy that taken with Firebrand.
Oh, Primwater?
Primwater, yes. Did any of y'all know of any active involvement between Primwater and the pirates?
Let's see. From Copperlocks and Jacob. No. Suspected, perhaps, but not directly with the Sea Princes. From Ida. Smuggling's a broad venture.
All right.
Real quick, are you the only one that gets or that has to ask the questions?
I think it is simply that no one in the area can tell a non-truth, or if they
Correct.
do, that he is notified.
Are any of you?
He isn't notified. They literally cannot if they fail their save. He just knows if they passed it.
Are any of you working with the Sea Princes at this time or in the past?
Coruscant knows.
Oh, okay. I was like, Corsa knows. What?
Chorus
Oh,
of knows.
Chorus
I know.
of
I don't
knows.
know if it since these are yes or no questions, having doing each individual answer it seems a little wasteful.
Is anyone knowledgeable of or participant in any kind of conspiracy involving Seaton or its government
Another round
in
of
relation
no's.
to Saltmarsh?
Another round of no's.
Just a
Yep.
few kind of like nods.
Any of y'all let information knowingly slip in the wrong hands and an attempt to inform people about something that could have harmed Firebrand in this whole ordeal?
Bunch of no's.
Is that basically asking if anyone's been an
Right.
informant
Yeah.
to a higher political person?
Bunch of no's.
Did anyone plant evidence in Firebrand's room?
Or knowledgeable of planting of evidence? Gotta be specific.
They all specify that none of us present because you said anyone and you made it sound like somebody did. Yeah, no, not that we're none of the specifics that we're aware of.
Any of y'all in particular working with Sea Princes? I think we already asked that one.
You did.
Do any of you have dealings with Albert Dralion? Oh, you know, it's a dumb question when the DM.
Yeah,
goes,
that's something like I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think of how to answer it. I mean, basically you just get varying degrees all around. He's a merchant. Like people have bought and sold things from him before. Like, and he's not from Manistrad and Jacob. They basically say no because he has basically been destitute for more or less since before they got there. But Ida's been like, oh, various and sundry, and plus Guard doesn't do a ton of trade. But Copperlex does add that we've had some small talks with him since he has come back into his wealth for him to help start moving, metals and ores and things. He's taking part in that beginning of trade.
Any of y'all getting paid under the table by any other unsavory folk from Seaton? Or savory folk?
Bunch of no's.
Well, y'all got any questions for each other?
Or us?
Yeah, that's what Jacob's. For all of you, actually, this spell affects everyone present. Yes.
Yes.
He's kind of glancing around at you. Do any of you have any dealings with any of the Sea Princes?
Yep. I'm gonna go get a ride to get his brother back.
The princes have my brother.
That's right.
They are stabbing each other in the back.
And you're hitching a ride with them.
They are stabbing each other in the back.
You trust that they aren't leading you into a trap. Why?
We don't trust that at all.
You may not see us after next week.
I don't have a choice if I want to save my brother. This is my only option.
And why are they doing this for you?
Because they're stabbing each other in the back. Politics.
I'm
even
not
amongst
in
pirates.
character, but it's
I
all
figured.
true. It's all true.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Politics, even amongst pirates, is what I gather. I don't know the specifics. And if I get my brother back and kill a few pirates in the process, I don't care.
The man that made Julian the way he is getting a hold of his brother. And we're trying to stop that or worse from happening to him.
And big old Sharky grin.
Well,
I want to fish again.
understandable.
I want to go fishing with Julian sometime. I don't even like the ocean.
I just want to do right by the people of this country. It's people in general, honestly.
He looks at you, Gloob. Did he really attack you first? That's what I thought. I have no other questions.
All right.
Well, they've agreed to help you for some political clout. I'd make sure that they're either not going to murder you afterwards or loop you into something more than you can handle.
I fully expect them to try to murder us afterwards.
Yeah,
Personally.
it's probably a trap, but I mean, hell.
There are pirates.
The trick is to murder them first.
I mean, we might be able to get out of it peaceably, but yeah.
No.
Julian does not look hopeful at the idea.
Get us as much of information out of those pieces of parchment as you can, and I suppose we'll see what we can find out on our own.
If you'd rather us take it to the barracks and sit with it there under supervision, I completely understand and I'd be happy to cooperate. If you feel like we might be doctoring evidence in any way, shape, or form.
Just kind of glances over at it. May as well. Trusted you this far, I guess.
May as well take it or just keep it.
Keep it.
Following this conversation, I think, and I'm only speaking for myself, that if y'all need us, welcome access to us, conversations as you need them, for as long as we're here.
Noted. Jacob gets up and leaves.
As he gets up to go,
A moment.
and is gonna follow him outside. Like,
Yes.
kind of
Oh my
inside
God.
the dog.
Three people on the deck of the ship.
Yep. Yeah, he steps out and he takes like 2 steps past both of Ida's guards. And yes.
It's not like super private, not trying to like huddle away from the guards
Right.
or anything, but just kind of lean in and be like,
I know you didn't want to do that. Thank you. It was important. And we acknowledge the invasion of privacy it may have represented.
We'll see if it makes more fool me or not.
not anything to say to that, so just gives him kind of a nod and then he'll head back in.
Continues on his way back.
Did I get it's compared to me.
Right.
So not
Is that class
actual, like,
levels?
numbers. Class levels and fighter class levels. If any.
If any.
or-
I will say, comparatively speaking, figure he is about 5 fighter class levels.
Okay.
This motherfucker can attack us twice.
Oh, fuck.
But Manistrad and Ida both excuse themselves shortly after his departure.
Yeah, y'all
Julian.
just leave those there. I'll get them.
Julian looks physically relieved.
It's just really good souffle. It is.
Thank
No,
you,
she's telling the
appreciate
truth.
It was good.
Hey,
It was quite good.
Send you the recipe sometime if you like.
They both exit and make their way back to their own homes.
Well,
Well, that was shitty.
that ended up better than I was afraid it was going to.
Blue walks up and goes to bed.
Okay.
It's like check on Gloob if he's feeling upset, if that's okay.
No, it is obvious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Julian is going to go retrieve the package in the brown paper and head over to Gloob's barrel.
Okay.
So are we all going over?
They all
to Gloob?
converging on Gloob. Gloob's just
Oh,
floating.
Gloob, you look upset. What's wrong, buddy?
Oh.
It's just a crowd follows him across the ship.
I mean, Julian had to go get the package first, so.
Understanding that sometimes people need space, I will give him some space, but still be nearby.
Top man. Okay.
Bart's not go after Gloob.
So as Julian's retrieving gone to retrieve the package, you'd get to him first.
I don't know where I catch up to you at.
Probably
Say, like, just below deck or something. You have the room, right?
Well, I have the room on deck.
Oh, okay.
I would have gone in there and probably hastily and just shut the door behind me.
I'll just knock on the door then. You all right, Gloob?
Yeah.
You sure? We can talk about it.
Won't help.
Still might feel good.
It won't.
You know where I'm at. We.
Okay. You're muted, Julian.
Yeah.
You're very
just,
muted.
Passing by Bart with the package, like,
You alright?
Seems upset. Probably about that last question, I imagine.
Right. Figured.
and Julian will walk over and
A fucking Bart will just hear, like, alright, just at the top of the staircase, keep on going.
Don't gotta talk if you don't wanna. But I got something for you.
But as soon as you knock, you probably get Gloob open the door. Bart, I set up. Julian, wait.
holds out the like square paper wrapped package.
You can take it in there and open it by yourself if you want. But it's for you.
What is it?
You gotta open it to find out. That's how gifts work.
What I hear?
Dust.
What's the smell like?
Paper.
Yeah.
Zendros' tent.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, probably. I'm not quite sure what Zendros' tent smells like. It smells like
Butcher paper and
money.
Probably smells
money.
like
Oh, a lot of money.
Smells like money.
Smells like straight gold.
Smells like it smells like what you think greed would smell like. Avarice. Like.
Now I'm just imagining there being enchanted paper that Zendros works everything with.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Anyway, yeah.
It's a good idea.
Gloob just opens it right there.
Inside is a painting with a brown hardwood frame and a detailed image of a fairy circle of mushrooms similar to the ones that we visited with in a marshy environment.
Gloob just kind of stares at it for a moment. He just
I
hugs
thought
it.
it might help.
Oh! Just goes to, like, hunch down a little bit and returns the hug.
Bring something important with you on the ship, even if you can't usually take it with you. Hope it helps.
That's very nice. Thank you, Julian.
Just kind of little squeeze on the tail end of the hug and stand back up.
Well, we're here for you.
And just kind of like awkwardly turn away. Clearly, like from start to finish, self-conscious about the whole thing.
Will would just kind of stand in the doorway, take his finger and trace around the ring, hug it, and go into his room and start finding a place to hang it up.
All right. Okay. Is there anything else?
You said
anybody?
this
Yes.
is captain's quarters, right?
Mhm.
Where I'm at. So there's a desk in here, or a writing desk of some sort, right?
Yeah, I believe there's one that I previously was described as like bolted into the wall.
Right. I will put this painting right above that desk.
All right.
Bart,
Mm-hmm.
I need some assistance magically with some whittling. I've been trying to, I don't know, get this last thing right, and I haven't been able to do it so well.
All right. I mean, I can say a prayer for you to help you out a little bit. If that's what you mean.
I mean, whatever you can.
I don't think I have anything that'll help you whittle better. I don't think I have.
The closest you got is
ability.
guidance, because
Yeah,
it can
I
be
think
used on the skill
guidance
check.
is all I can give to you. Yeah. Enhanced ability is not prepared. So
They're also
I
both
give you
concentration,
guidance.
so you could either give advantage or a D4. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. 1 second. Oh no. Yeah, I was gonna say I could try to emboldening bond. Well, have we? Yeah, no, I don't have any of those left because I used them.
Yeah, you
all
used them
searching.
while y'all were doing I mean, one could argue you guys had a short rest. Oh wait, no, that's not emboldening bond. That'd
Yeah,
be your
that's
completely
what I
different things.
thought.
That's the exact
That's
same.
what I
God damn
thought.
it,
Yeah.
we were thinking the
So I
same
was
thing.
like, oh no, oh okay.
Oh wait, shit.
That's a long rest.
Ah
Yeah,
no, no.
I
Damn
can
it!
heal you some in case you keep
Stabbing your
chopping
hand.
on your fingers.
Ah! God, dude, blood magic. Why did fucking kick my desk?
Other than that, I mean, say a prayer for you. Hope you do good.
Let me say something.
I know you'll do great anyway. You don't need the help, but it's there just in case.
All right.
I'll give you guidance and watch you whittle on the table as I clean all these fucking dishes, cause
That's a D4, right?
Yep, 1d4.
Okay. I would like to attempt once again to carve a pirate ship.
Okay.
Okay. Do I add my proficiency bonus when I have the wood
Nope.
carver's tool if I don't have proficiency with them?
Nope, you just
Okay.
add your dex.
Oh, dex? Cool.
You
That
get your
actually
dex
makes
and your
that.
d4.
13.
13. Okay. I'll say that depending on how detailed you're wanting it to be, this could either be a relatively it's a little crude, some sharp edges on some places. But if this is something you're wanting to kind of leave it out, you're just wanting like the basic details.
Basically, like a child's pirate ship is what I would look for.
Okay. So, I'd say that that it's relatively crude, but it's definitely a ship. It's definitely ship shaped. Is easily like the best attempt you've made, I believe so far. Not bad. And I mean, you could always, if you so desired, you could always spend some more time with it if you wanted to kind of remove some blemishes and stuff to work it down a little bit more. You'd leave it as is.
I would definitely spend a little bit more time to try to make it a little bit nicer.
So,
Once I kind of see that he's looking over, kind of the basic thing that he has essentially after that check,
right.
like, you know, it's looking good. Just take your time and if need be, maybe do it in separate parts. Like do the mast and then do the front and the back, and once you get them just right, you can put them together. If that comes up, but yeah, just take time and give them another guidance.
I think it's looking nice.
Yeah, that's looking real good. I think maybe your best one yet.
It's definitely up there.
So, now this does kind of depend on how late you want to stay up. This first round would have been about an hour and a half of work, give or take.
How long would it take to smooth it out?
I'd say probably about another hour.
I'd stay up for the other hour.
This would have taken place, or at least started, in the first portion of that. Julian would have just popped his head in and been like,
"Hey, I'm going for a swim. I'll be back in a bit."
All right.
Don't get drowned, I guess. Don't meet no zombies down there.
Oh god, that'd be horrifying.
Yeah, let Gloob know if you get attacked by a zombie.
Will do.
as he's shutting the door behind
Oh
him.
man. I just had a good idea. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
In the episode.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, I said.
So,
Proceed.
Player concern intensifies.
Just because I said I had a good idea doesn't mean it's going to happen now. Y'all are good. You're fine.
but, yeah, and then
We don't
Julian's...
believe you.
That's great. There's a whole lot of distrust going around tonight. A lot of suspicion.
but yeah, and Julian will proceed to do exactly what he said and go for a swim.
Sure.
But instead of the previous ones where he was like actively trying to reach out to the entity,
Mhm.
he is not trying to reach out to anything. It's just going to be like a contemplative float.
Yeah. Good little,
Thinking
like a little
about-
kind of meditation, just kind of on the waves is like the.
Yeah, he's just real stressy about the situation with his brother,
Mhm.
situation with Saltmarsh in general, and all the political intrigue and stuff going on there, and then a little bit about whether he did the right thing in getting that for Glue, because he still doesn't know the story about that. So he's like, "Oh God, was that? It felt right, but was it right?" So,
Right.
All right, back to you, Jakob. Sorry.
I'll just comment. It's like it's always one of those. You know how we've commented previously, like when you were in the Druid Grove, where it relaxed everybody else. It just seemed like almost agitative to you, where like you became hyper aware of just how like constantly on edge that you've been probably since like you woke back up. It's like this just kind of floating in the water. It's still kind of there. Like there's still that high tension, that like that almost like constant like subconscious drive to be moving, be doing, be hunting, be fighting, like just that predator drive. It just floating there in the water and just kind of thinking over this all. It's still just fades ever so slightly as you just kind of drift on the waves. But yeah, Jakob. Roll for smoothing with your D4.
While Jakob's in the middle of smoothing, Bart's gonna be just kind of like idly watching him, relaxing and smoking on his pipe, and he will fall asleep with the pipe in his hands. I was like, let's see, old man fall asleep. Constitution saving throw 1. I'm a halfling. 1. All right, well I'm fucking asleep.
Jesus Christ. Sometimes it's just meant to be.
so I'm just sitting there.
This bitch smooth.
What's the roll?
Oh shit.
21.
21. Okay.
Nice.
21.
Nice. What was the D20 out of curiosity?
17.
17. Nice. Say with your 21 as you're sitting there and you're working into it, and you kind of like it's quiet. All you can hear is just the waves kind of slowly kind of crashing, like not crashing, but just in and out. Bart drifting off to sleep right over there with you, just kind of pipe stem in mouth and just kind of nodding off, and everything's just so quiet and silent. And Sin kind of drifts down while you're working on it, and just kind of starts whispering little both little encouragements and like little details of like from stories she's heard, where it's like, and that one story, they had like on the wasn't the figure it was a really pretty lady, and just kind of she's just kind of there by your head, so this just calm. You're just working in silence, and could almost be a different day, maybe in front of a fire and in a familiar living room. It just comes out almost as rough and crude as it was at the start. It seems almost perfect after you've been working at it for a while.
Jakob would like to take the Aronius' fist as well as the crudely whittled shark figurine that he has in his backpack. Like to take him out and then just look at him, smile, stand up and put the Aronius' fist at Bart's feet, and then try to quietly leave the room and put the crudely whittled shark on Julian's pillow and just kind of softly knock on Gloob's door.
This poor frog.
Let me see if I'm still awake.
That's fair.
He's knock on his door to hear.
No, you get there, glue probably like a bandage around one finger and like bent nails and a hammer. I am not made for building things.
Yeah, just kind of looks at my hands, all the the little nicks and scars from whittling. But I think I did a pretty good job on this one. I'm gonna hand you the small pirate ship and say, I know it's not too big and it might not fit you, but I wanted to get you your first ship.
You can't leave with Darby, you know that, right?
I'm just not sure, Gloob. I'm just not. And I wish I was.
If you've ever been sure of anything, ever, you got a lot more going on than I do. We've been doing a whole lot of things that we've never done before. At least I have. I'm a frog in a city, man. On a pirate ship wearing pirate clothes. In a pirate boat. So sometimes you just got to see where it leads you.
Thank you, Gloob.
Thank you. This is awesome.
Thanks. It's a lot better than Julian's.
What'd Julian get?
Got a tube with a notch cut out of it.
Two with a notch cut out of it.
It was supposed to be a shark.
Julian likes tubes.
To be fair, I gave his son the better shark.
That's fair. Julian would want it that way.
I'll have to make him a good one day.
Yeah. Got to be around to give him one though.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jakob.
Don't want to. Of course, don't want to keep you. Well, I hope you have a good night, Glue.
You too.
That Jakob will go to his room and head to bed.
Okay. Julian, do you spend your night out floating, or do you come back onto the boat eventually?
3, maybe 4 hours, but once he's felt a little bit more cleansed, he will come up and go to bed on the boat.
So make a noise for me.
Ooh. Glue will, after Jakob leaves, he'll get a couple more of those fucking nails and put it like a little stand on the desk to hold the ship there. And I'm gonna bring out that empty book, and I'm gonna bring out that ink and a candle, and Gloob is going to start writing.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do that pretty late into the night.
Absolutely. So, kind of.
Bart will wake up when Brila tries to surreptitiously slide his pipe back into his hands after smoking the rest of it when everyone left.
Just kind of little squirrel hands.
Little squirrel hands, very high squirrel eyes.
You can't tell their eyes. You can't. They don't get bloodshot, so it's a little squinty. But I mean, that's all you got.
Anime squirrel eyes.
But yeah. So everybody drags themselves to slumber for some spending some time doing some work, some various states of relaxation or ponderance or stress. So I think that's where we'll go ahead and call tonight's session, even if it's a few minutes early. I think it's a good spot. But yeah. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you guys for joining us. If y'all were watching, I hope y'all enjoyed tonight's session. I know I did. The plot thickens. We move. I really thought y'all were gonna be like on Prospera's ship by now. I can't fucking predict. I'm just like, it's fucking a wild and crazy time. But well, yeah, we'll get there when we get there, and we're gonna enjoy the ride, and I hope after then as well. But between now and then, we'll see what all is gonna go down. But yeah, we do this here at the Gotham on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And normally on Saturdays, we have our Across Eberron campaign at 5 p.m. At 5 p.m. Eastern Standard, but not this upcoming Saturday, as we got real life shit that's got to get handled. So we will not be here next Saturday, but just remember it for the future. Important date, right in the calendar. Be there or be square.
No be square option.
Additionally, we're doing this here charity drive for the International Medical Corps, which we're doing things to help both the mental and physical health of people over in Ukraine. They need it. It's a good cause, so I encourage you to click on that link. Before we head on out here, we're gonna raid our friends over here at Perception Studio. They do TTRPG things and podcast things. They're a little more. We're doing some talk shows and podcasts tonight, maybe instead of playing a game. So you gotta check them out. I'm sure they have valuable opinions on the TTRPG things. I have no idea what they're talking about, so go look. Be supportive, even if you don't necessarily agree with them, because that's what opinions are for. It's for debate and like everybody becoming more well informed as a whole. Nobody's trying to just be a dick. All right, that's where we try anyway. But so yeah, so go show them some love. We'll talk to you later.